with a brief introduction. All right. Is this music even working? Oh, I did not mean to hold down push to talk. I did not sniff. There we go. In a lab, somewhere, location unknown, time unknown, a figure slides out of a vat and into a pile of bodies. This figure, blind, hairless, crawls over the corpses that litter the room until it reaches and then proceeds to grope around on a solid stainless steel table, catching hold of something that ticks, a wristwatch. It takes the wristwatch and holds it to its ear, this freshly born clone. Like the sound of a mother's heartbeat, it hears the tick, tick, tick of the watch. A screen blazes to life above the table with a figure the clone has never seen. Taps on a microphone. The image. Are you there? Well, for the sake of causality, I can't have a direct face-to-face conversation with you. You're one of many, likely. This is a pre-recorded message before you get your hopes up about having any kind of human contact. That will come later. I need you to perform a task, whoever you are. Again, I can't know your name or general appearance, though I could guess. And yeah, those are about the details. In fact, I recorded this 70 years from now. So, chances are when we see each other, if we see each other, hopefully nothing bad will happen. But we can't actually see each other. I don't need to explain why. Maybe I do. Have you ever seen Time Cop? No, you haven't seen anything. You just are here. We are things without a biological origin. There's no beginning. There's no real end. I died before I was born, and I was born before I died. One of those statements makes sense, and the other one is a bit of a paradox. We live in the paradox. If you're able to complete the task set before you, you may make it out of here alive, but the bodies you see scattered around are the failures. Again, I can't count how many there are, but if I had to guess, the number is probably high enough that the stink of their rot is nauseating, even though you don't even really know what a meal tastes like. The first bite you take will probably be regurgitated for this reason, or there may be bile that comes up. Can't say, and honestly do not care much. The watch. This video only activated because you grabbed it. Put it on, follow instructions, and if possible, you'll be able to reach the island of Guam. Hopefully that's still there. Again, can't say for certain, but I have a pretty good idea. Fourth dimensional awareness. The figure taps his own head. It's an interesting trait. Maybe one day you'll be able to enjoy it yourself. Or maybe you'll just be one of them. Oh well. Good luck. The video blacks out. and the figure steps forward before a box falls on him and a timer begins. With a small set of tools found inside of the metal box that he is now trapped in and a flashlight, he sees that there is a door with a combination lock that he needs to get through. He also sees that the entire safe is lined with what look like spike-laden explosives. If he fails to open the safe before they go off, they will pierce him, ricochet around the metal box, and hit any bits that they might have missed. They will pierce every part of him, and his instinct tells him that he will not survive the encounter. And so he goes to work. Until at last, he is able to open the box, free himself, just as the metal splinters fire off with a rapid percussion. Next test, a computerized door to open. He again has to rely on his tools, but this time uses context clues, hints hidden around the room, different various numbers that are behind panels. The concept is very much like a deadly escape room. But he makes it through that door. The door after that, guards with faces hidden behind helmets unleash metal batons and come charging at him. Without any weapons or clothes, just his watch, he has to learn to rely on his instincts and his timing to make it through the encounter. The first figure tries to crack his skull, but he dodges. The second figure tries to go for his leg, but he kicks that man in the face. And then the third figure makes a large swing for his midsection, cracking his ribs. But he uses his free arm to hold on to the baton and wrest it from the guard's hand before then cracking the guard's helmet and going to work on his comrades. After an intense encounter, he pauses and turns his flashlight on the guard's faces, and they look eerily similar to the man in the video. He marches on through laser traps, through landmine-laden dirt floors made to look like deserts, through Arctic conditions in a room where the temperature is set well below freezing, and the only challenge is to simply make it across before your feet become bloody and you simply die from exposure from any wounds you might have incurred. He manages to make it to the end, where there is a briefcase with contact information, a pistol, various resources printed out on a page that he can acquire once he reaches the Guam, figures that he may run into, and a header at the top of the stack, the Dorbo group. He closes the briefcase and then walks into a second room where a suit and tie is awaiting him, a pair of glasses. He puts them on and then begins to walk towards the last door, this one much larger than those before him. There's something ominous about going through this door, but he can't quite place why that would be. Instead, he just tries to focus his thinking power on the task ahead of him, and the words of the strange man on the screen, and the unknowable future that awaits him in Guam. This was 3 years prior. And that man, once he puts his glasses on after waking up in a hotel room in Guam, checks his watch, timing is regular, checks his weapons, they're all intact. He has instruction manuals on how to repair and maintain them, and he does so with mechanical precision. Cortland Kingswood. He does not have a pact, but he does have a purpose, just one he does not know. And so we return to the screen. Ice Peak. You are dealing with an angry mob, and Cortland is freshly electrocuted. He's also pretty severely injured from the action he's been involved in. before all this. So I'd say he has room for one consequence.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Cortland.
You have, don't forget also to refresh your fate points, everybody. And I guess I can remove his mild consequence. If you have any mild consequences, you can knock them off, actually. So he has room for 2 consequences. You have the first action, though. You are surrounded by the mob. They are pulling on Cortland, and he, with the seizure that he suffered, is not in a position to exactly resist them. What would you like to do?
Uh, okay, well, I had an idea, but
Yes.
okay, the mob hears from a deep voice hidden somewhere in the room. Um, every day, more than 500 billion cells die in our body. They are not random events, but part of a finely tuned biological mechanism called cell death. Would you like to meet them? I would like to start tapping the mob with my stand.
Okay. And what are you inflicting upon them?
Well, they have 500 billion cells that are dead in their body. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring them to life, yes, as a tiny version of themselves, like a angel on the shoulder, to deal mental damage specifically and whisper to them like things they are guilty of. For them, it'll just be like literal ghosts have appeared on their shoulder.
Okay.
I'm basically trying to freak the mob out.
All right, go ahead and give me a. Well, your ability will work, but go ahead and give me a sterilize roll. No, make it a brain trust.
Okay.
Oof. They rolled a 0, so if you want to inflict further consequence, you can. Otherwise, they will take a consequence, a moderate one from this.
I don't. How is the mob looking? I don't know how damaged the mob is.
Actually, you would have to you'd have to evoke once to get them to take a moderate consequence, and if you evoke with all your die, you have the chance to take them out actually, because they would. Well, no, they'd be able to survive that. So if you invoke once, though, you will do enough damage for them to take a moderate consequence.
I will invoke once using my stand, Death No More.
Okay. So the mob has these ghosts that are appearing on them, and they are beginning to freak out, of course, because they don't understand what's happening. They can't see stands, but they can see your ghosts. And for them, they're already in a sort of weird religious fervor / mania. So they're just trying to get the ghosts off of themselves. One of them actually turns and shoots another one basically directly between the eyes as they are panicked, and many of them are armed. Some of them are actually attacking themselves with pipes, and one of them you see clearly is trying to stab through his ghost with a knife and is just stabbing into his own shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
They begin to regather themselves slowly and strike out at they try to grab Cortland again. A 7.
Oh God.
Yeah, so they, like, those that are not freaking out and maybe are ignoring your commands are basically grabbing onto Cortland. Cortland can try to get away with this, but...
Is he even conscious?
No, he is. He's... Well, he's having a seizure, or he was, but once he recovers from it is when he sees the mob closing in on him, so let's see if he can. Oof. He cannot. They're going to seize him, and now they have dragged him to his feet and are beginning to pull him away from you, I speak, or away from your presence. The organ damage that he suffered means that he can't fight back as well as he probably could against this assault by a frenzied group of individuals that want him alive, but nobody specified what kind of state he needed to be in. What would you like to do as they are trying to drag him away from you?
I guess I'm going to go on full-on assault. I would like to clash the mob.
Oh, shit. Okay, go for it. I guess you're rolling. Just roll your top three approaches. Let's see how you do. You also have 2 conditions that you put on them, so you can invoke those. They are electrocuted and they are freaked out. If you invoke one of their consequences, I'd say you'd be able to lay a severe consequence on them and take them out, basically.
I would like to invoke the guilt ghosts.
Okay.
Basically, I want all the ghosts to start whispering that they're literally selling out their fellow man.
How are you, there's a lot of them. So what does it look like when you're clashing them?
Well, my stand is very, what I would say, precise. So, they can't see him, but she's able to probably identify weakness points in their body and specifically, use it to full effect. So if someone has a bad knee, she will further damage that. Basically, she can, as a doctor, identify their weakest points and break them.
Okay. As you are scattering them, there is something that you recognize from the group as they are moving away on the ground.
Yeah.
It is a small Russian porcelain doll.
Oh no. Yeah.
It looks like one that you would have seen when you were a little kid in Doma.
It sure seems out of place.
A little bit.
I don't want to look at it.
Well, you are compelled to do so. Pay a fate point or look directly at it.
I will look at it.
Okay, you look at the Russian doll. And when you do, you see it fold over twice and unfurl into a long stretch of black fabric from which 2 thin black metal arms emerge, wielding from beneath the fabric like a magician performing a trick, a scythe that is about as long as you are tall, or at least you are in your main body, and it springs at your fragments, slicing at you. This attack is incoming. Let's see.
Oh, what?
It misses you, but barely. And it doesn't just, it's not even just that it misses you. You can feel it glancing your stand's throat. Like, so it basically goes right over you and is about to cut the head off of your stand. It doesn't, but that was a close one. As the crowd is scattering away from you, now that you've taken them out, you hear a car getting closer, until it basically collides with a few of the pedestrians. It looks like a black race car from the racetrack here in Guam in Stella Maris. The driver behind the wheel is quite obviously one Helena Wolfhouse. The mob scatters for now. They've scattered away from your position because they saw those people get hit. They do not want any of that. They'll take some time to recover before they can make another assault. But for now, you're left with a crippled Cortland, and a car that could very easily run him down. What would you like to do?
Uh, can I pick him up with my stand?
Cortland, once he is able to get back to his feet, he has an idea, it seems.
Okay.
Dr. Icepeak, you have the ability to graft with your stand, correct? I need you to become some of my organs. They're failing. And even if I could get away from her, I don't think I'd survive. Can you be my heart? He grabs his own chest and crushes the fabric beneath his grip.
I can attempt. There is not much left of me.
I just need a little bit of... He staggers. I just need more time. I just need more time.
Can he see her stand?
Yes, he actually can.
Okay, then her stand does reach forward and pick up the hand that is left of Ice Peak, picks it up and kind of squishes it into a heart shape.
Okay.
Killing the eels in the process as it puts the heart into his body, presses it over his chest.
You see, once you're like actually in there, you see it looks like something might have nicked him and he was having a bleed out. It wasn't visible damage, but if you hadn't done that, he might have been dead within like minutes, really. And the fact that he was going to run and start like pumping blood would have probably sped that process up significantly. So it wasn't only for romantic reasons that he asked you to do this. Instead, no, he is very much on the verge of actual death.
He's bleeding to death, yeah.
Once you are connected to his heart, there are a few qualities that you will be able to understand about it. One of them being that now that it's beating again, it is back to being somewhat regular, like that expectant, steady tempo. Another is that now that it doesn't have organ damage, it's basically a heart that's in the best condition like maybe you've ever seen as a doctor from a human. Like it's a perfect model heart, which really shouldn't be possible for a man of his age. I mean, there would be some wear and tear on the organ. Instead, because he's already revealed he was basically made in a lab. This is simply confirmation of that.
Very cozy. I mean, well made.
What direction do we go into? Do we directly take on the enemy, or do we try to run?
I was considering taking us to the roof since she has wheels. We cannot outrun a car.
You're right. He looks up at the building just in front of you. I'm afraid I don't have superhuman physiology. You hear a loud horn blare as Helena leans out her driver's side window. Hey, Four Eyes. How you doing? See, you don't got your fancy watch anymore. You look pretty rough. Father John wants you alive, but I'm not Father John. She revs her car. Right on note, right on point. I'll just have to tell him you put up too much of a fight. Maybe we can just drag whatever's left of you back to him, and he could use his stand to put together whatever it is that you're carrying. Doesn't matter to me. She gets back in the driver's seat and begins to adjust the clutch. Black Parade. Let's kill this motherfucker. She guns it. You can hear the gas just revving, roaring out of this engine. It's a monster on wheels. You want him to go up to the roof, huh? From the ground? He is just human. How is he going to do that? How can you assist him?
In JoJo's, I have seen stands pick up people and toss them up a building.
Okay, give me a power roll.
No. Great. Sort of like a. I don't know the one I've seen before. It doesn't matter.
To give your boy an alley oop, that's a 5. Let's see. That's a 4.
Ooh.
So you managed to throw him up onto maybe a railing that he can catch onto, which he does barely. And he does it just in time to pull his lower body up as the car slams into the wall as hard as possible. It goes right through the brick. And you could just hear it driving through a building, colliding with further walls, furniture, cabinets. Like you could just hear everything being demolished inside of that thing. Before you hear a squeal of tires and a reversal of the car. Cortland is going to try to climb up the wall, but once he gets to the, we'll say, second floor fully, the car has reversed out and then tilted upward slightly. Cortland looks down at this and pulls a small pistol out of his coat. The only one he has left. It's a 3-shot gun.
Cortland, why? Okay.
Has all 3 barrels all like lined up. They're very tiny. That's all he has on him pretty much. He has that, your heart, and your stand. So as he is preparing to climb up further, but he has 1 pistol in hand, so he can't quite like do a great job. The car has begun to go vertical along the wall.
Oh God, that is not a normal car.
You can see that there are blades that have emerged from the hubcaps, like sides spinning in sequence, allowing it to grip onto the material, shred it, and then with enough momentum and force, this thing begins to tear ass up the wall towards Cortland, splitting the wall in half as it does. That is what's happening with Ice Peak. Ice Peak, you are currently dealing with Cortland and Helena, hot in pursuit. To get to Claudia, now we cut away to your position. Claudia, the last that we heard from you, you were basically walking away from the Golgotha tenements, but you managed to snap out of it just before you get a considerable distance away. You're not really sure what happened between the basement and where you were currently standing, but for you, it's just a blackout pretty much. You closed your eyes, you were standing outside.
All right.
What would you like to do now that you're at least away from some of the chaos, so you may be able to help out with some of the efforts of people that are either trying to escape from the Golgotha tenements area or just deal with some of the mob that are currently still. I mean, it's still like basically a riot on these this group of blocks. Like it's a bad time.
I imagine she's probably wanting to help disperse the mob and maybe save like did we hear let me think. Did we hear that Inya's squad was pinned down at any point?
I think you would have probably gotten that feedback, that impression. I'd say your intuition of Cop is a strong enough one that you know if they haven't like arrived at Enya's position by the time you had to split up from her, and it sounds like there's still clashing going on, they're probably being pinned somewhere. Just hard to determine where. You do have their last location.
All right, I think probably. I mean, she'll probably go and try to help get them out because it seems like the most dire situation at the moment.
As you are looking for them, you see near one of the sidewalks there is a sewer drain, kind of like built into it. In that sewer drain, you see a pair of eyes and someone saying, "Psst, psst,
she'll kind of amble over and kneel down and look in and go, "You're not a sewer crocodile, are you?"
You actually do see a very large eye looking at you sideways with a large split in its mouth. Sort of like a crocodile or even maybe like a snake. It stinks because it's living or it's in the sewer, but it's just shakes its head at you. Hey, you look like a cop. Are you a cop?
Yeah, I am a cop.
We find cops. We tell cops to help cops. You are not a bad cop, but if you are, you see like a fistful of dirty $1 bills be pushed through the sewer. Here is bribe. Please help. Please help me. Help cops. Help cops, please. You also see it throw out like various shiny, looks like paper clips. One of them is a goldfish in a bag.
Oh.
Help cops, please.
She'll take the goldfish at least. Is it a lie?
Yeah, you know what? No, it isn't.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say my follow-up question was gonna be: is it a real goldfish or just like a goldfish toy or something that?
Upon closer inspection, you see that it is a toy, but the batteries have gone out and it is floating upside down.
Oh, okay, so
even the toy is dead.
Rip.
She'll chuckle a little bit and go, okay, what do you need help with?
You see more eyes blinking in the dark behind this first figure, as it comes fully into view now. We see lords of acid, and they are bad, but there are men that are bad. We like cops. Cops help us, so we help cops. We made sure cops go through sewer to help Big Lady Cop. She is bright and shiny, like nightlight. He begins to rub his face. Shiny nightlight. You follow. Need more bribe?
I think I'm good. I'll follow.
Oh, here's the token for this sewer boy, so you can see what he looks like. If you go into the sewer drain to follow, or to basically upon his direction, you'll see that there is a few of these sewer mermen. You've maybe heard rumors that there are some mermen who just live down here homeless. They kind of cross beneath the entire city. And despite the best efforts of various criminal organizations, they can never seem to get these guys to do any smuggling or drug running. In fact, they're more of a hazard because when smugglers run into them, they tend to be attacked. The sewer mermen, you first of all see that there are approximately like 7 of them. They're pretty hulked out actually. And there's also a body of a man floating around with his head having been replaced by a bottle of bleach. It looks like somebody removed his head and shoved a bottle of bleach into his neck. The suit is very shiny and white. The body is still twitching, but this was clearly a Lord of Acid. Likewise, you see that there are a few of these dead sewer mermen lying about as well. They look like they've been corroded down to just their organs, top of the skull. They had a combat down here.
You've been busy.
We lose, and we win. Such is way of the sewer. For now, you are like a sewer merman. And if you do well, you could even become new queen of sewers. Our queen died. Would you like to apply? He takes out a crude piece of paper that looks like it was drawn on with a green crayon.
I'll think about it.
He tucks it back into one of his many pouches along with what looks like shredded beef that he's just been keeping in there. and a small child-sized bottle of juice. Thinking is good. Sewer! They all begin to charge after he says sewer down the line. Like they're running along the walls, the ceilings, they're grabbing onto them, doing acrobatic maneuvers to flip over divisions and through very tight spaces and walls. They're just like, these guys move through the sewers very quickly.
She'll try to follow them then.
Okay, you end up following them. As you do, you see that there are above you. You can still hear the stomps, the stampede, the human stampede that was dispersed by Ice Peak, more or less. But you have to head into a different direction because they're leading you towards Enya. In the meantime, to keep up with them, I'm going to need a speed roll from you because they are very quick. Passive difficulty of 4.
Oh, dang it. Okay, let me...
Oh no. These boys are slippery and fast. Would you like to invoke to try to keep up, or would you fall behind?
I'll try to invoke, but I don't think I'll get anything better, so...
You might. Go for it.
Let's...
A 2.
2.
One more invoke can put you there, at least.
Sure.
Okay, you managed to keep up with them, which is how you were able to warn them that part of the sewer is about to collapse from an explosion above. You can see the wall kind of beginning to fall in as they are going towards it. Seems like they're sliding pretty fast, but they will collide directly with that explosion and cave in.
Okay, she probably quickly shouts, "Cave in!"
Go ahead.
It's just cave in up ahead, basically, so she's saying and pointing around towards.
The first sewer merman in the front comes to a screeching halt, and then the other mermen that are following all slam into him at the same time, and they turn into a pile of slimy limbs and blinking eyes. But they all look into the direction of the cave-in as it crumbles and would have crushed probably some of them. They look back to you. Thank you, cop. They all begin to chuckle in unison as they try to untangle themselves.
You're welcome.
You'll have to find an alternate route, but you do have some experienced guides to do that.
All right.
So they will help you to navigate through the sewers. You do notice one of the sewer mermen is kind of staring at you, almost fixated. He's just as he's moving, he offers you it's a wrapped piece of candy for a lady.
Thank you. She'll take it.
This is a very rare and exotic candy. You're not even sure how you would have gotten this thing. It isn't something they sell on Guam. It's some kind of snow plum flavored mint that has a very fancy lady posing on the front of it. Yes, it just so happens that they happen to know and trade with a boy occasionally.
You'd probably ask where he got this at least.
Oh, I mean, they'll tell you. We trade with boy. Big bouncy boy. Big bouncy boy. Yeah, they all chuckle to themselves. Bouncy, bouncy boy. As they try to navigate through these winding sewers. The longer you're in here, the more labyrinthine you notice the structure is. It's possible that these sewers, the form that they exist in currently, you've probably heard people in the city complain about this. It seems like they almost weren't even built properly, but instead by freestyling, somebody compared the sewer system to noisy jazz. And it definitely feels like it. There are random pipes that end places where they don't actually fit with anything. There are dead ends everywhere. And you'll even occasionally see something like a vending machine down there in the sewers that hasn't been plugged in and it's filthy.
Ooh.
But following their lead will take you into the direction of Enya. Let's swap to her real quick as you are beginning to close in on her position. Enya, you are currently in the sewer being baptized by Father John. He has torn off your leg, and he is basically holding you down with the full strength of pure comedy. A stand that is very physically strong. What would you like to do here?
So, is he flying, or is the stand flying? I guess both of them, right?
Yeah, we'll say he's floating.
Okay, so it's above the water.
He is above the water, correct.
Ah, shit.
What would you like to do? What was your plan there?
It would have been cool to try to see if I could get this momentum turned around so that, like, we could crash into, like, a wall or something.
Okay. You basically want to try to reverse his position with you, with like a maneuver, like a...
Yeah, like her tail could, like, wrap around him, and, like, she has, like, a hand in the water to get liquid light to make it so that it's hard to stop.
Alright.
Yeah, like, kind of angle.
Okay, the moment your tail wraps around him, go ahead and give me a precision roll. Connect. So like he basically goes to punch out your tail, just like cracking the bone inside of it with a sheer force of pure comedy's fists. Just one of them. And just as he's about to raise all four of his hands clenched into fists to bring down on you and crush your body, you can feel your death condition sense tingling. The amount of crushing power that he could exert would definitely be enough to satisfy yours.
Okay, so do I have an instant to react to this?
You do have an instant to react to it, yes.
So, I can liquefy light, right?
You can.
What is the lighting situation in this series? Is it, like, automated?
It's very dark. But I'd say there's enough light from the broken street above, like the lamps that are still operational, or you probably still get some illumination. Plus there are fires that are going off above as well, from the burning train, or burning truck rather.
Is there any chance she can make the light go out? Like, including maybe Lewis's blessing. We haven't called anyone yet with it.
You want to make all the lights go out? That's something Blue could do. So yours is more about amplifying light. You could try to flashbang him, like. You can see, actually, now that you mention it, Ice Peak, you can also see in this moment before he smashes you, there are reflections of events occurring all around you in the ripples of the water.
Alright, well, I can't make the room go dark, so, really simple tech here.
Well, he's got the next turn. You just took yours. So whatever your plan is, it's gonna have to deal with the fact that he's about to crush you.
Alright, can she get the water to rush up into his face?
You have a sword. And you have like a stand. And you have a body made for war. So I'm pretty sure you can do more than that if you want. You already know, just from experience, any water that goes near him is not going to hit his face. His stand just wouldn't allow that. He may be able to deflect your attacks too, but at this range, with this speed, actually that's an interesting point. You can try to force him away from you with an attack, but he is going to also counterattack.
just try a water jet sword thing here then.
You also have laser eyes, don't forget.
I was scared of laser eyes.
You shouldn't. Araki would, but you shouldn't.
He would though, he would forget.
You want to try to blast him? With the sword or the eyes? Which one?
Let's go for the sword.
Okay, go ahead and give me a speed roll. I'm trying to hit him before he hits you.
This one's so
Oh no, it does. You're able to, as he's coming in with a punch, time actually begins to slow down for you a little. You can feel the wind incoming force of the punch coming towards you. You can feel the momentum. You can feel your death condition tingling. But your sword kind of traces through the air and leaves after images in it as you bring it up. And you swear for a moment that beside you is someone else holding the sword, like with your stand. There's a third person there that seems to be assisting you. A very strong looking man with long flowing hair, kind of purplish, is assisting and giving your sword extra lift to, it actually moves much faster than that in reality. Father John needs to take a large step back as the blade begins to cut through part of his tie, something he did not negate with his stand. For whatever reason, he couldn't stop that from doing damage to his clothes, and you know that the way the stand works, he should have been able to. At the very least, he should have been able to like hit you with a very strong attack. Looking down at his damaged tie, he just throws the scrap of it in the water after pulling it free. His entire tie, just throws the whole thing into the water. And then clenches his fist. You won't stand between me and the paradise that I've been working on, cop. Fuck the police. He begins to pull back his fists, and all four of them cock. You can see he's preparing for a clash.
That sounds really personal. Alright. Just because it dukes up, so why not?
Okay. He puts his dukes up, you put your dukes up, and that is when you, let's see. You hear movement behind you. Father John doesn't seem to notice it, even though he's like looking into that direction. He seems to be focused purely on you as he goes to slide towards you ever so slowly. Those hits, each one of them is about to come in with tremendous amounts of force. But as he is about to unload on you, you hear someone say, "And you get down!" A hand grabs you, pulls you away, and you see three other figures rush forwards in full body armor with heavy protective gear. Let's see what happens here. Your squad has arrived.
Oh man.
A 3, a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 2. Let's see how they do. Oh, they managed to actually break even with him, I believe.
Can I use my coordinator to get that one little boost?
Yes.
Yes, you can. In which case, they actually have him pinned down now. One of them, now that you notice he's pulled you back, you feel something like your leg was dead, like you couldn't feel it, but you feel your leg again. Looking down at, if you look down at what's happening here, this guy has basically, let's see, who is it? It would be the, probably the leader, actually. He's grabbed your leg and started to basically hot glue it or like just he's basically like applying a sealant around the wound to reattach it to your body. He also takes out a staple gun and begins to just staple it in place. That's gonna take some while. It's gonna take a while to heal, but right now, it's better than nothing.
Shit, I appreciate it. I can't believe you guys are still alive, honestly. But and he's gonna stumble towards, Father John.
Father John begins to, so he's gonna try to throw these guys off of himself. Yeah, you see him do that. He just like throws these guys like clean off of him like they are kids. He just quickly begins to drift backwards once they hit the wall. Claudia, this is around the time you run in to confront, or you with sewer mermen, basically, have come in to see Enya with her squad, Father John floating backwards down the sewer, and yeah, obviously the sewer mermen have brought you here. What is your plan of action?
I guess what she'll do. I feel like she will actually call on her stand to kind of start placing stones around the immediate area.
Okay. Once you do that, you find that there are some, so like earlier when you ran into the sewer wall and there was a structural issue that caused the wall to collapse in, you actually hear from the resonance of your own stones there's a similar structural problem with the ceiling in this section of the tunnel. And as you become aware of that, Father John, who's now drifted backwards, lifts his hands to the heavens, floating upwards to cause Pure Comedy's fingers to sink into the stonework right through. He stares at the two of you and the gathered mermen and Enya, your squad, outnumbered. He doesn't seem to be dissuaded by any of this. He instead starts flying backwards while dragging his fingers through the stone, causing a cave-in. But I'll give you a quick moment to try to realize what's happening here. And yeah, go ahead and give me a gaze roll. You just need to beat a 2 because you're familiar with positioning of what's going on. A 4. Good job. So you can tell where he's dragging his fingers, creating this great gap where the ceiling is about to cave in, is directly under the truck that the Lords of Acid left. In other words, you're quick enough to have a reaction when the ceiling begins to fall in and you watch this extremely hazardous truck begin to fall into the sewer tunnel. Now, the tunnel isn't big enough to properly handle a truck like this size, but if it collides, it's not only going to shoot a ton of this vaporized green crack into the immediate area, it's also going to hit the water supply, or at least the sewers.
That's pretty bad, yeah. Well, I'm thinking she's gonna try to start a wave, like as big of a tidal wave as she can.
Okay.
Like
with liquid light?
Yeah, and also if she needs to, like, getting bigger so that, like, it's a bigger wave.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a power roll. Direct head-to-head. Equal force.
Can I add a salter to that?
Yes, you can. You using the combination of your skills in combat and the force of your liquid light, you're able to create a wave that actually smashes and moves and sways the truck away before it seems the contents explode. But once they do, you're going to have to deal with a wall of basically a toxicant that is going to not only flow into your direction, but likely the end of the line that Father John is behind. He's hidden. He's pretty much hidden from view here. Pardon me. as the truck pretty much collapsed in front of him.
Are we cut off from him, in other words?
Yes, you are cut off from him.
I guess we do need to isolate this truck more, but man, I sure would like to chase him.
The combination of your stand and Claudia's stand actually may be able to contain the explosive contents. Claudia, with your resonance, you can identify structural points of weakness and integrity within machines or anything that has reverberations. So it's possible for you to apply, perhaps, like, is there anything that an oyster could maybe produce, like that you think could help to seal weak points? I think there is, right? Like it's got to be some kind of like what you use to get pearls.
I imagine so, because I don't think pearls are like fully formed when they actually make them. I think they have to go through a complete process to actually make a pearl.
So maybe this is part of how you actually petrify people. It says oysters secrete layers of argonite and conchiolin, which are the materials that make up an oyster shell. Creates a material called nacre, also known as mother of pearl. So you can produce that. It's probably irritating to you.
Yeah, it's probably really irritating, but she will probably start producing it to start helping seal up, getting ready to seal up these cracks.
Okay, the combination of Enya, your liquid light, helping to like push this thing sort of into a better position, and Claudia's application of like a stone to essentially petrify parts of the truck. It'll be a joint roll between the two of you, I guess. Claudia, go ahead and give me, for this, a durability roll. And Enya, give me another power roll.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okay, Claudia, your roll passes. Enya, yeah, you might want to invoke. Go ahead. What do you invoke? And then I guess give power a reroll.
Her motto, your lives mean so much to me. This is the sewer water. I mean the city water.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
So like as you are trying to keep the contents of the truck from spilling out, you notice that there are the sewer mermen behind you and your squad. Like they are all terrified of what's about to happen. Some of them are aware of what green crack does, and they can like see it kind of starting to leak out of this thing. I'm gonna give you a compel. You can put a lot of force and effort into this, but you're going to have to take a consequence of it, because you're going to have to channel liquid light directly through your body, like through your veins, through your muscles. You'll have to essentially like push yourself into overdrive so that you can concentrate hard enough to keep this liquid light in place.
Oh my god.
You do get a fate point for this.
Yeah, I actually do still have a fate point left.
Okay.
I could try to reroll one last time before they roll that.
Okay, go for it. Trying to hit a 4. Oh, well, never mind. You don't need to burn yourself out quite yet.
By the way, the crisis negotiator, I guess, is what I invoke.
Okay. You managed to succeed with a tremendous amount of power. I guess seeing the people behind you that are in trouble, they were counting on you to basically survive this encounter, because while it's possible you and Claudia could have made it through this with your molecular controls, these mermen, they're not as strong as you are. Your squad, these old sewer guys, you can already hear some of the sewer guys shrieking as they see such bright light. Some of them are actually being blinded by it. Ah! Bright! Too bright! One of them shakily tries to put on a pair of dirty novelty sunglasses that have a fake mustache attached to them. Ah!
Sorry. It's pretty necessary though, right now.
Enya, as you have illuminated so much of the sewer, you're able to catch sight of something in the sky, flying away, actually. a brightly colored figure being propelled with a four-armed stand behind him, with these arms kind of like outstretched in an X formation. Father John is taking off very fast away from the scene, spreading paper confetti through the air as he does. He seems to be trying to get an aerial view to reassess what's happening here. In the meantime, now that you've stopped the truck, there are still riots going on in the streets above, but you have technically stopped this hazardous material from leaking out. I would say your squad can probably try to handle making sure this thing doesn't go off, but they need Claudia's squad, probably, or even Icepeak squad, hazmat. There's a hazmat person out in the field, right?
Yeah, there's a specific hazmat that's a cleaner, shrimp, and wrasse, which is both the cleaner people of the sea.
Okay. I would say at this point, yeah, probably your cleaner shrimp shows up Icepeak to assist, having been actually with a sewer merman in tow. And above, actually, now that you see that these squad members are trying to get a handle on this truck and make sure that it does not detonate and kill a significant amount of people, you can hear that there are actually police sirens blaring above and the lights going off, as it looks like some units have arrived to clash with the rioters. You hear a lot of violence going on out there. Enya and Claudia, what would you like to do? You want to try to pursue Father John, or do you want to assist your fellow police in trying to suppress these mobs that are roaming the street?
Probably go after Father John, honestly.
Well, neither one of you can fly, I'm pretty sure, so how do you plan on doing that? Because he is taking off very quickly.
Yeah, neither of us can fly. Like, I guess Enya could launch Claudia at him and try to follow. Oh my god, she's not that fast there.
I mean,
We can try to follow him through the sewers. We do have guides in a general direction.
Yeah, you could try to follow him. If you leave the cops to fight on their own, though, they're just normal cops. Normal cops versus normal mobs. Like, they're gonna probably have some trouble, but I guess we can find out how that works out.
I guess perhaps maybe Claudia will call in her squad to assist the cops with the riot.
Your communications are still being muddled.
Oh boy.
But you're a sound expert, so when you listen to the muddling, you actually hear a thumping noise behind the static. This is typically the sort of interference that happens before an earthquake occurs.
Oh, and she'll probably go, we gotta get out of the sewer now. There's gonna be an earthquake. Almost surely.
The sewer mermen hear you say earthquake, and they all look at each other and begin to run into random directions.
Oh, buddy.
Oh no.
One of them just hits a wall and then slides down it.
She'll pick up the sewer boy and try to wake him up real quick.
All right. Yeah, they're all panicking. Earthquakes are very bad for them, very dangerous here in the sewers, so...
And you just kind of give people...
You're a coordinator. You want to coordinate them, or...?
Yeah, if there's like a big opening, like, above them, couldn't they just climb her?
Yeah, I guess they could. The combination of both of your, I'd say, abilities to coordinate crowds and people and get through crises would definitely help you here. Unfortunately, even if you do get them out, an earthquake in the sewer would mean that truck would probably not be able to withstand, even with your reinforcements, Claudia.
Okay, so even with our reinforcements, then Claudia will probably go like, Enya, if you want, go after Father John. I'll handle this.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. So you're gonna go after Father John. Claudia, you're gonna try to stay here to deal with the truck.
Yeah, I guess Anya's just gonna try to proceed through the tunnels.
Okay, following along the path that you see him flying. If you look through the, you're gonna have to give me a gaze roll. Trying to keep track of him from a difficult position.
Oh,
0,
no.
very difficult. It's hard to keep sight of him from the sewers as you're running. Like he's kind of disappearing behind buildings and then moving into unexpected directions.
Man, she might as well stay and help with the situation here then, honestly.
Okay. Enya and Claudia, you are going to have to figure out what to do with this truck. And we will return to that momentarily so that we can finally get to our boy, Detective De La Cruz. Detective, you are currently in child form with a ghost hanging from you. Yes, you are haunted. What would you like to do here?
I think he's still kind of the mind of wanting to continue to try and find Ice Peak so that he can hopefully get her to make the ghost go away, since she's kind of our ghost person, because it's either return it to Alsatia and deal with that, and he doesn't want to do that.
True. There's maybe another issue. As you are trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do, you feel a hand basically grab you and pull you up off of your feet.
Great.
The strength of the hand is phenomenally high. This figure basically brings you up to eye height with it. Hey kid, did you get lost on the way to the Fear Factory? You can feel the malice dripping behind each word that this guy says. He is, I would say to you right now in your current state, pretty terrifying. Let me get his token out real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need more things, really.
He looks like this, I guess. Let's see, where's the token? Ha 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 ha. Gotta browse for it. He has a fanged mask, which you are familiar with as someone who has run into these figures before. It's clearly a Lord of Acid. And this one is a little bit different from the others. Like, he's hulked the fuck out for real. Like, the other Lords of Acid, they are generally gonna be like, I'll say, normal human size until they decide that they're going to change into a different form or otherwise exert their molecular control. This guy is, we'll say, about the size of Towner. Why can't I find his friggin' token? I'll have to figure that out. He is wearing a similar black suit to the one that you've seen. But yeah, it's like a black pinstripe suit, I'll say. You have, like, I'd say like an opportunity to try and get away from him if you want, but you get the feeling that if you did, he might take that badly. He also doesn't seem to be able to tell that you have a ghost attached to you, for whatever that's worth.
Oh no, that's fine.
Saying that you do not get out of his, do you just like play along with it, I guess, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, I think if he's picked me up or he's just grabbed onto me or holding onto me, I think Mikey, I think because he's got eyes everywhere, I would guess I would do like a quick look around to see if I can tell where Alsatia might be from here.
Difficult for you to make the assessment. She's gone kind of quiet, and here's the boy in question.
Yeah, look at that boy. Yeah, if I can't tell where she is, then I guess I'll just wait for her to show up because I've got one of her ghost babies now. But I'll just kind of turn to him and just kind of, I guess, give like a nervous smile, like a kind of like a kid that got caught with his hand in the cookie jar situation of like a oops, uh-oh, kind of
spaghetti-o.
Yeah.
Sure, you are able to I guess we'll say fool him. I mean, you are a kid. He kind of like puts you under his arm. Once we get all you brats to package everything up, we're gonna move operations. I know you want to escape because you're scared. It's scary out here. He holds you up very close to his teeth. You can smell the corrosion on his breath. It could strip paint off of the wall. Don't be scared. My name is Khan Weebefrans, and I would like to take you back to your very legal job with the rest of the children. And if you try to run, I'll melt you down, kid. So don't even think about it. He just begins to carry you along towards a series of winding staircases in the Golgotha tenements. Down a flight of stairs on the side of a building, down another winding path, around a corner. You arrive at a solid steel door that he just brushes his clawed hand against and opens seemingly from the gesture. Once he does that, he starts to drag you in, but is given pause when he hears a howl in the distance. Wonder what that was. See, told you it was scary out here, kid. You better stick close to us, or you'll be somebody else's meal. He just slowly starts to close the door, leaving you and him in total darkness, and the ghost who is still clinging to you. He goes down a corridor, and eventually the thing that you see is a very dimly lit large room in a sub-basement. It looks like there's lab equipment, packaging scattered everywhere, and roughly we'll say, I guess you're a scout, so you can take a quick look and try to scan the crowd. Go ahead and give me a gaze roll. You're trying to shoot for a 3 because there's a lot of faces. Let's see. A 4. Yeah, you're able to see that there are roughly, let's give it a roll. Yeah, 54 children. Some of them have been reported missing. Some of them have just never been reported. These are kids. You'll note that the ones that you've seen gone missing were last seen in foster homes. A few of them have been taken from their families. These are entirely merman kids, and they're all down here with their legs chained to tables and protective gloves on, and like small amounts of very, very shoddy lab equipment protective gear on. It would not protect them from anything. It just seems to be almost like it's just there to give them peace of mind. But if any of that stuff really gets through their skin, they're probably going to die from exposure. These children, if you have a molecular control of 4 and the average merman has a molecular control of 1, you could just think of these guys as having molecular controls of 0. They usually barely know how to defend themselves on a cellular level, and they could not stop the chemicals from just flooding their systems and overdosing them. And you can also tell that there is, it's not just this Lord of Acid that's in here. You see that there are a few others shuffling around. They look like small ranking members in the standard suit and fanged mask, but there is another very large very large suited man in a very similar style to the first one. Man, this map is getting crowded. Let's just move some of these aside real quick. There we go. So you're dealing with that. The sewer merman can go over here. There we go. The other figure looks very similar, very large, hulked out man. And if you were to try to even fight one of these guys one-on-one, it might be an issue. You also have a lot of potential collateral damage in this location. So what would be, I guess, Mikey's first plan of action now that he understands, I think, the scope of what he's dealing with?
I think for right now it would just be
Just kill all the kids.
No, just kind of keep his head down and I guess start pretending to go back to work or just get a feel for what's going on and do what I can without having to deal with multiple lords of acid and all their cronies and possibly having to defend myself and these children from murder.
All right, fair enough. The work is pretty simple. It's mostly just handling and packaging the green crack that these guys are pushing. You recognize the stuff right away. You also recognize that it is very high dosages, and there's a lot of it. There's the second guy right there. These guys are both about the same level of hulked out. You can hear the first guy that brought you in. Hey, weakest. I found one running around on the street. The second guy cracks open a beer and then just proceeds to pour it over the head of one of the kids. Wow. Who would want to escape from a job without all you can drink? Get back to work. He grabs the kid by the back of his shirt and just throws him on the floor near one of the tables. The child just rolls there covered in beer. This other guy, Con Weakest, crushes the beer can in between his index and thumb and then flicks it at another child's head. I want double production. You better move everything, because if you kids don't work fast enough, I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill more of you. None of you want to die, right? We're Lords of Acid. We don't believe in killing people, especially kids. But if you don't do your jobs... The first one punches his fist into his open hand. We won't have a choice. We'll have to make some examples out of you. They both just start chuckling to themselves as the children are basically... You can hear a lot of soft sobs and some of these kids are really young. A few of them are they look like they're no older than 4. They're barely at an age where they have maybe entered kindergarten, and these guys have them here packaging up one of the deadliest drugs you've ever seen on the street.
Do we at Aqua have any samples of this stuff? Because I'm going to pocket some if we don't.
Yeah, I'd say that you do, but you have to know that if they have you, you'll have to be quick and stealthy if you're trying to pocket some here. They are definitely watching for that.
Oh, if we have some, then I'm not going to worry about it.
Oh yeah, you already have some for sure. You do notice that this particular strain or production of green crack looks dirtier than the ones that you've seen as samples. This is a far less pure product, probably made in speed batches for maximum volume, but quality they don't seem to care about it anymore. They're just producing as much as they can. You have travelers though. It's possible that you could scout out this workshop if you want.
Yeah, I would definitely. He would start spreading them out to get a kind of mental map of the place.
Okay. You see that they're... give me a gaze roll, I guess. Okay. And give me a range roll. The gaze roll will be how much detail you get. The range will tell you kind of more about the building. Damn, both very good rolls. You managed to get an actual full layout of this workshop area. It is pretty massive. Easily accommodate 54 children, maybe more. And in fact, it seems that now that you're spreading out travelers, you can see that there are like cots where it looks like the children have been kept when they sleep. And there's about room for 70, 80 of them. There's only 54 kids here. So either they haven't filled in all these beds, or these might be kids that are just no longer with us. Hard to tell. The Lords of Acid MO is to just melt people down once they need to get rid of a body. And there are telltale signs of that acidic residue along the ground in some of the areas near drains. You're also able to determine in one of the rooms, kind of further down in a large chamber, there is a pit of glowing green crystals, and there are multiple, it looks like mermen that have been tied to stakes upside down. They are essentially being bled out in small amounts. Every so often, a green substance just leaks out of them as a series of needles just jabs them in various parts of their body. You can also give me another, let's see, what do you have? Yeah, go ahead and give me an understanding roll. 3 is good enough. When a merman is injured, the body will rapidly begin to work at the site of the injury to try and get the, cells back in order, or clot a wound so it doesn't bleed out. But there are cases where if there's repeated damage to a merman that has been rendered unconscious or is otherwise heavily dosed, they may begin to, at points, secrete an acid. This natural defense is a gift from your father, and it's meant to help to protect you if you ever get knocked out and somebody is just beating your body. You can just sort of acidify a bit and cause damage to the weapons or bodies of any attackers that make contact with you. For the amount of acid, it's usually equal to the number of strikes, as it isn't a very strong acid in most mermen, except for blood types. In this case, judging by the concentration of acid that these people are producing and your speed of being able to see what is happening, like your ability to perceive time, you estimate that these mermen, whenever there is it looks like one needle jab, there's actually a series of something like 100. So rapid that it just looks like a vibrating blur as they are repeatedly jabbed with these needles all over their body. And you can tell by the way that their eyes are blanked out that these people are probably either knocked out or they've been drugged. So yeah, it's just a tattoo gun that gets your body to produce a protective mucus or fluid that goes into the refinement of the drug green crack. Green crack is essentially produced from the natural defense mechanisms of your species. Once it has been taken into those vats where it's collected, it is baked and mixed with a combination of other chemicals, set to a high temperature to remove certain impurities and biological markers. What you get is a more refined, purified acid that is then once again treated, dehydrated, cooked into thin sheets that are then shattered and heated again with other sheets until you get this essentially giant rock candy-like crystal of green. That you can see in the production of it is green crack. It is essentially the pain of your species. Something that can kill humans and get other mermen excessively high, even addicted to it.
Yeah, all of that sucks. Hate this.
Well,
can't report back on any of it.
What's even worse maybe is that you see some of the kids have small needle puncture marks on their arms, so it looks like they've been tested to see if they'll produce this stuff. But the younger kids only have a few. The older kids have more. So it looks like maybe when You can judge that maybe when these kids don't operate or perform as well, they may be used in this production. How hard are you working while you're witnessing all these hordes, by the way?
I feel like he's probably going about as fast as the other kids around him. Like he doesn't want to like just start churning it out and like that be a weird flag, but he also doesn't want to be slow, like be too slow and like catch their attention. He wants to try and blend in and just keep it at like a good pace.
Okay, you're a good worker. Go ahead and give me a roll of 1d10. Nine. This guy, Con Weeby Franz, actually will stop to inspect how much you're producing. Nice. You're a model worker. No, you're one of the best. These other kids could stand to learn a lesson from you. I'm glad I brought you back here, boy. Keep working. Don't rest. Keep working. He just brings his face very close to your face. Keep. His teeth are very, very sharp. The light is gleaming off of them. Working.
I think in like his best like little kid voice, he'd be like, "Thank you," and just keep like working at it.
He's just kind of walk. He actually will drop a shitty, dirty piece of candy on your table and just start walking away. Don't mix it up with the green crack, kid. Yeah. You also, so your travelers have gotten a good scope. You know that there's like almost a fire escape set up that for like a back room exit in case that needs to be taken. I'd say, judging by the volume and the amount of bodies that are kept in that chamber, this may be the main production point for green crack in the city. These guys, they clearly look like they're enforcers for the Lords of Acid. Is there anything that you would like to do with travelers since they haven't at all noticed your orbs?
Yeah, if there's any.
Yeah, they're not going to notice. They're too distracted. Caught up.
Yeah.
With
Good. Yeah, if there's any kids that I notice that are like in the right place, like nobody's looking at them, like there isn't any like guard or anything like that. Since like verse 2 of travelers can copy somebody or something, I want to like get a kid and just kind of like carry them out and then replace them with
Replace them with a copy?
Yeah, replace them with a copy.
Okay, that's going to be a very difficult maneuver. You're going to have to pass a series of checks to first produce a, well, I'd say it's a stand ability. You don't have to roll for it, but getting the kid out, that's a different story. So go ahead and give me a slick roll. Okay, I would say with that, you managed to very, very deftly sneak one child away from their station and replace them with a simulation. That it seems like the Lords of Acid that are here haven't noticed is not the real thing. But that's one child out of 54. Can you do this 54 more times?
No, because travelers can't. There's only a set number of travelers. But I just wanted to see if I could do it.
True. Well, it looks like that you were able to pull it off, but you feel the grip of the ghost girl getting tighter on your shoulder.
Is she saying anything, or is she just like
she's whispering?
Oh, cool. What's she whispering?
She's whispering, "Mother is coming."
I think if I can talk back to her without them noticing, or maybe they won't care, that's fine too. I think Mikey would just go, actually, at this point, kind of counting on it, kid.
All right. With that, your travelers do detect that there is an incoming, almost rampaging figure. The Lords of Acid are a little bit slow to react to this because they're focused on the details of what's happening here. As the door just slides in half and falls over as a pile of, it looks like cold cuts. They slowly turn around and see this woman in a sheet. It seems like her face is directly turned towards you, Mikey. She just kind of points at you with one finger. What would you like to do there?
Is she? What's the, I guess, the direction from like me to these, to like the bodies that have been strung up?
Oh, they're in like a completely sealed different chamber, like through some doors. Like travelers can travel through
okay.
doors and stuff.
If that's the case, if I know the fastest way to get there, I'm gonna, if I can get myself, I guess, in front of or behind these two, so that Alsatia has to go through them to get to me while I get to that room. That's what I want to do.
Can I recommend a simpler course of action?
Yes.
She has a compel that's very easy for you to pay a fate point for.
Oh, what is that?
Her trouble, children must live.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I guess I'll pay a fate point, and as loud as I can, just go, and like my little kid voice, like Mikey will just be like, "Oh, help us, lady! We're being made to do drugs and sell drugs and package drugs! Ah!" And he's like waving his arms like all noodly, like olive oil. And then he just makes a break for it. He just starts running down, like he's like, I'm still gonna leave because I don't want to deal with her, but she can deal with them.
She's very fast. So when you go to leave, you basically turn around and see her landing with all these hands basically hitting the ground and buffeting her fall, like basically like spring-loaded almost, as she crouches near you like a spider with knife and fork clearly in hand and aimed at you. The child, okay. She can see the child basically.
Yeah, I figured, but...
The child detaches from you and floats away, and then floats up to her ear and begins to whisper. The child points at you, Mikey, and then points at the kid that you made a double of, and then whispers to Alsatia. Alsatia starts to... She just stops, like she's frozen in front of you, until she lowers one of her... She stabs her fork into the ground, and then reaches forward and gives you a small pat on the head, Mikey.
I accept this.
She then grabs her fork from the ground and stands up, rolling her shoulders as her full form begins to emerge. You can see the white tablecloth spreading out beneath basically everybody in the room. She's just covering it. The Lords of Acid, who were previously torturing these children, look down at their feet and then look over at her. They motion for some of their lackeys to run towards her. She just, as one of them approaches, puts her hand through one of their heads and produces a spray of lemon and lime wedges before grabbing another one, and you just see him get reduced into a cluster of sour candy. Another one tries to jump at her. She catches that one on her fork, drags him in, and then backhands him through his head, causing a spray of pickle chips. The two muscle heads that were ready to run this operation, you can see them both cracking their knuckles. Mikey, if you leave her to fight these people alone, there's a chance she might not make it. These guys they look like they're pretty high molecular control. They're enforcers for a reason. So I will say you have an option here. You can either flee now that you have safety and the ghost child is no longer attached to you, or you can assist her in this war she's about to have with the Lords of Acid. If she goes unabated, she may not cause a lot of collateral damage, but there's no telling what these guys will do to once they feel like their children have been are at risk, their assets. Will you assist her in her murder spree?
I mean, yeah, I gotta help get those kids out if nothing else, and I know they're gonna stop me, so I gotta stop them from stopping me.
All right, in that case,
I think as she is starting to eat through these, like the mooks, the minions, and all that, Mikey's just gonna he knows the fastest way out now that he's mapped the place. He's just gonna whistle as loud as he can and try and get the kids' attentions and just start telling them which way to go. Like, okay, come on, we gotta go. This way, you gotta go left, right. It just starts like way too fast for these kids. Telling them where to go, and is just trying to out.
Okay, go ahead and give me a range roll to try and coordinate these kids. You can obviously travelers can assist you with this task. I'd say with the 3, you can start to get them to move. But Alsacia has already dived towards the 2 cons that are here and present, and they're already ready to square off with her.
Yeah, if I can at least get the kids going the right way, then I will start going against the flow to get to them and her to help.
Oh, interesting point. You can tell with the spilling and damaging of lab equipment. These kids are in danger of just being contaminated by the supplies that they have on their tables. So, I mean, you can obviously assist. You can either assist the kids and save, I guess, them from possibly getting contaminated with green crack, or assist Alsacia. You can already tell that when she has her first clash with those 2, she has them a little bit on the ropes, as they did not anticipate an enemy of this strength level to just drop in on them. But one of them does manage to make a swipe through her side with one of their metallic gauntlets, causing incredible corrosive damage to her organs. You can actually see some visible intestines sticking out from her side.
Oh, uh-oh.
You can focus on the kids, or you can just it looks like she may go down without assistance, or at the very least, this could be a mutual destruction.
Yeah, I mean, she did just eat a third of my body, but I can't let her die just so that they can keep doing what they're doing.
You have range.
Yeah.
You don't have your sniper rifle with you.
Yeah, I don't have my rifle.
But you do have something else.
I mean, I have travelers. I have being a stretchy boy.
Question: have you ever considered throwing travelers like a sling, basically, with a big rock?
I mean, I was gonna suggest just grabbing it like a softball and just launching it at them.
Okay.
Because I mean, you can always throw a curveball, and they're little spin balls anyways.
Go ahead and do a good eye sniper roll. Which one are you attacking? The one on the left or the one on the right?
I'm gonna go for White Mask, Weakest, if I remember.
Yeah. Con Weakest. Go ahead. Give me a good eye sniper roll to shoot. A 7. Yeah, let's see how he does, I guess. He eats shit, man. Where do you hit him?
I think, Mikey, just Traveler just kind of forms in his hand, and he just grips it and just rubber arm, stretched too far back, like a cartoony throw, just whips it at him, and just tries to go for probably for his neck, or where his neck and shoulder meet. I want this guy disoriented, and hoping either I miss and I hit his body, or I get exactly where I want and I use the spin of Travelers to maybe twist his head the wrong way. I know he's a merman, he can take it.
Oof. Alsacia managed. So you first of all, you see that dude get smacked hard. Like you land all the damage that you wanted to, and you gain an advantage because he's off target. The other one tries to attack Alsacia. You watch as she just tanks the hit directly in the face, causing basically her jaw to shift to the right and the cloth around her face to just tear off. The woman beneath is this emaciated, angry, withered face with lips that are sewn shut with steel wire. One of the extra hands that she has resets her jaw and then backhands this guy right in the face, like almost Bruce Lee style, just like back punches him right in the head, cracking his mask. She wields her knife and fork to begin to just dice and stab at them to try and put them off balance. The guy that you hit earlier, White Mask, Khan Vikas, is hit by one of these knife stabs, causing him to just, you can see like his guts start to spill out like her guts were, except the things that are spilling out of his guts look like sour belt candy. He looks down and says, "What the fuck?" The one on the left, the black mask, is the one that she struck, and his mask is now cracked and slightly embedded into his face. He looks like he's taking up a boxing stance. While Alsacia has her attention turned towards White Mask, Black Mask is ready to move in with a flurry of blows. What would you like to do here?
I'm gonna... actually, you know what? I'll use my stunt. Stuck with you. Boxing is all about your stance, and if you're in quicksand, you don't have one.
Okay. I think you just rolled to make a hazard, correct?
Yes.
Go for it. A 3. He may be able to get out of that, but instead what he does once he sees that he's stuck, he looks around to see who could have done that. He's not sure. Defensively, he just clenches his teeth and begins to breathe out a green vapor. You watch as Alsacia quickly tries to cover her eyes and leap away, latching onto the ceiling when she does. She looks like she's been blinded. Now she can't see. She's got a condition on her. You can also see that there is a lot of blood leaking out of her from her wound, and the fact that her stand has begun to cannibalize her.
Great. I mean, I guess I have a third Travelers. I'm gonna use Travelers on her to try and heal her, or like mend the wound, I guess, keep it from like spilling out.
Difficult proposition. That's really something Death No More would be able to do. In your case, you could try.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna Yeah, I could literally try and spin it, and I don't know if it would go well for either of us to try.
She actually will grab Travelers and hold it up towards her face and hiss at it.
Okay, fine.
And then she points it down towards the ground and hisses again.
Yeah, I mean, if she lets go, like,
She doesn't.
Oh. Then I guess the weight in her hand, I guess, will just suddenly become impossible as he just drives it down into the ground.
She's still holding on to it, so she just gets dragged along with it.
Okay.
She's attempting to use your stand as a guide.
The guide dog.
She can't see anymore.
Yeah. Then I'll use that one to, I guess, whip her again. Since I already hit White Mask or Weakest, I'll launch her at Weakest.
All right, go ahead and give me a good eye sniper roll again. Oof. 2 versus a 4. If she comes in at this speed, at this angle, she still seems to be unawares and is having trouble seeing. She may take a direct strike unless you are able to invoke and basically redirect her or put her in a more advantageous position.
I'll invoke that I'm a trained sniper, and I'll reroll because that was 2 negatives.
Alrighty. Go for it. A 4. Okay, that kind of puts them on equal footing, but enough that she doesn't take damage incoming as she has to tangle with these guys in the middle of a green cloud. It makes it very difficult for you to see normally, but with travelers now in this position, you get a much better idea of where these two are in the mist that's starting to expand and blind some of the children that are nearby. When the children cry out, you can hear her howl. She is obviously not happy that that's happening. She is going to whip around in a whirlwind of steel and fists. Oh my god. You watch as both of these hulking figures are thrown out of the mist, and the mist itself is dispersed by this tornado of steel and arms. And more importantly, perhaps, it's blown away from the children, too.
Yes, yeah, if she wasn't going to do it, then
this isn't the drugs, this is just a normal, like a defensive mist that they can both breathe out. One that is acidic and light that can like attack the optic nerves and blind a person. With these two figures flying away into different directions, Alsacia just stops, now bloodied, with fork and knife out to her side. She shakes travelers.
Okay. Yeah, I guess can I use travelers to start basically vacuuming up the drugs so that are all the material and chemicals, so that I don't have to worry about kids bumping into it or trying to get kids to not hit stuff. Or is that?
No, you can. How many fate points do you have left?
I have 1.
You can use it to invoke a deeper power, I would say, if you would like.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can feel it welling within you. Your need to blow things away, to fly. Something like an intuition strikes you where if you just feel it, wind will just blow all of these drugs away. Like all the mist, the acidic mist will blow it away from the people. It's a very gentle breeze, but it probably shouldn't be possible. There's no fan system that's going off that would blow a breeze like this, at least this large. It's gentle enough that it doesn't knock over any children or any drugs onto the ground. It just pushes away the mists from everybody. Enough so that it causes the two cons that are here to actually stop and look around. They seem to be thrown off that has occurred. Something about that is not right to them. They look at each other and then look at Alsacia. I think we should make our escape. The one in the white mask, who is very badly cut and still bleeding out. Sounds like a good idea to me. Let's just burn this place to the ground. Fuck the police. They both point at you when they say that, Mikey. Should have known you were a cop, kid. What did you do? Call in for backup?
No, actually.
Snitches get stitches. We'll find you later. And if we can't, we'll just shake down every kid we find in the playground. And those that don't know who you are will get melted.
Okay, well, I don't know if you noticed, but fucking with kids brings her around, so keep it up, assholes!
And can I increase the gust to force them out?
Well, there's no. I'd say there's no
strong wind. Yeah.
Yeah, you could try to increase the gust. They will notice that it is getting stronger, and then just turn to try and run away. But seeing that, you see Alsacia, wipe her finger along one of her open wounds, and then hold it up for a moment before her whole body structure turns towards the sound of those voices and the footsteps. her massive arms kind of like lock into place around her, and then she spins her body rapidly. Oof. She's going to invoke that children must live. Oh, actually, it'd be this roll. There we go. You watch as these figures run away, and then, like missiles, a massive fork and a massive knife fly through the air and pin them against the wall, basically cutting right through their spinal cords. They are howling in pain as they are both like pinned, and they only get a moment to try and use their molecular control to either glorp away from what's pinning them before both of them freeze, because Alsacia has her hands on the back of their heads. She just grabs them both and says, Amen, and slowly closes her fist over, causing their heads to collapse and disperse into what looks like two piles of white cherries. These cherries just fall to the ground, crumbling. All that's left of them is their lower jaws. Everything above the skull is just gone. Alsacia just drops the bodies and then looks sort of into your direction. It seems like you can see her eyes starting to open again as it looks like cells are beginning to push off of her body in the form of small flakes. It seems like corn flakes almost. She now stares directly at you with her unveiled face, and then looks down at travelers, and then basically leans down and rolls it back towards you along the ground.
Yeah, I think he would let it reach his foot, and he'll like kick it back up, and it'll sort of take to the air next to him.
She motions vaguely towards the remaining children in the room.
Yeah. Where they're...
I think if she's close to a set of doors, he'll point and just go, if you head that way, and like he'll just start telling her where other kids are.
Yeah, you see her just go through a wall.
That's fine.
And soon enough, there are more children kind of like flooding into the main room. They're looking around for any place that they need to go, and some of them are seeing the bodies of the Lords of Acid and screaming.
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't look.
And he's like just trying to get them to go past as fast as they can.
Okay.
Do you kids have homes? Go home.
Yeah, they're all basically all trying to talk at the same time and screaming as they do.
I think all that's happening, and then Mikey will just like once again like he sucks in like way too much air, like gets a weird like pot belly, like whistles again way too loud. Like maybe even a frequency that only the other like mermen can hear, and then just like, all right, do any of you have homes? I just need a collective yes or collective no.
They all just start talking again and saying where they live.
Okay, then we're gonna work on that.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, I'd say all 54 are gathered and ready to exit, and they're all making their way towards an exit that you would have pointed them towards. The last person out is Alsacia, who is dragging a Lord of Acid sentry along with her before she tosses it away. Her hands are limping, and one of them looks like they've been broken at the knuckle. Just several broken fingers that she's trying to walk on, so she's stumbling on her platform of arms. Eventually, as she tries to walk forward, she falls and almost completely eats shit before she stops herself with her knife and holds onto it like a cane or a walking stick. You can see that the blood beneath her sheet is now... Her sheet is almost stained completely red, with parts that are burned away from acid, revealing the gaunt skeletal figure beneath. Like, she seems like she might be actually dying here.
Yeah, I'd go over and be like, can I? And he'll have like both of his hands out.
She like tries to raise her fork towards you.
I'm gonna help. Help?
She slowly starts.
You said amen. I know you know at least one English word.
Look, and the goop will just kind of start, like the mucus will kind of form on his hands and like a film, and he'll go, it's not gonna give you new skin. I'm not that good, but it's gonna at least staunch the bleeding.
She leans towards you very closely, and then you can hear her sort of whisper something. It sounds like perfect.
And he'll as lightly and gently as he can apply it to her wound. It's like dealing with like a stray. You got to be very careful. No sudden movements.
She seems very uncomfortable with this. Like she actually, for the first time, maybe like on her face, you can see she's kind of wrinkling her nose and like all looking away actually from it. And also covering herself with some of her arms, like covering her chest, covering like various parts of her body.
I'm not. You're fine. Okay.
And like he'll probably finish up and just be like, okay, just
Actually, get treatment from somebody who knows your physiology a little bit better. Or I don't know, eat something. I don't know how all this works, but I get the gist enough.
She actually, on that note, will begin to just scoop down and gobble up lime wedges, sour candy. She's just shoving them into her body. You can see it just absorbing into herself as she does it. Like it's just into her sheet, into her flesh.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she finally, once she seems like she's now a little bit back to being uninjured, she just spins around towards you, points her knife at you, and then points the knife upwards, jumps onto the ceiling again, carves a circle out that like the pieces fall like bread rolls to the ground, causing part of the ceiling to collapse in. And then she's just spider climbs out through that opening.
Okay, I cannot get 54 kids out that way. We're gonna go through the doors.
She looks back through the hole.
He just starts like,
okay, kids, come on, kids.
She climbs down very quickly. Spider walks down, grabs one of the kids, grabs several of them actually.
I was gonna say, yeah, how many arms? Yeah, just start reaching for kids.
Okay, we'll do it that way. All right, kids, we're gonna go with the nice lady.
Yeah, she's just scooping these kids up like by the dozen.
Yeah, okay,
almost.
Hang on, turn around.
And he's like trying to like move through the kids and like start pushing them back out from the doors, like up to Alsatia, and just like,
yeah, just to her.
The kids are crying and screaming the whole time.
It's okay. She's nice. She just has a lot of arms. Some of us have a lot of arms. We have lots of commonalities here.
Well, no, they're pretty much beside themselves, man. This terrible ghost monster is just dragging them through a hole, climbing them up a wall, high into the air. Like they don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's perfectly fine. We seem scary to her. She might be scary to us, but it's okay.
Once she has the kids, like I'll say in groups of like dozens, she can get them out pretty quick. Before she puts the last one down, she brings it up to her face, the kid, and just goes, and then the kid just screams and cries. Alsatia also seems like she just recoils her head, and then like slowly puts the kid down and gives him a small pat on the head, which causes him to recoil in fear.
Yeah, I think he would just kind of hop up. He doesn't need the help.
When you pop up, she quickly turns around defensively.
Okay. I'm gonna ignore your hostility because I feel like we're working towards the same goal. I don't know what happened to you in your past, but we're working together on getting these kids home.
She points at you with one of her giant spider climbing platform arms, points at you with one finger, and then gives a thumbs up with this fist is about almost the size of your normal size torso. And then, like, what do you do when she gives you a thumbs up?
I think he takes a second to just really register what that was, and then just two thumbs up back.
Yeah, once she sees you do that, you see her quickly jerk her hand up so that her thumb is next to her neck, and she just draws this massive thumb across her throat to make...
Okay, fine.
Like, he throws his hand...
Okay, fine.
With that, you just see her kind of... There's the weirdest sound. Go ahead and give me a gaze roll. You can hear a very light, ethereal, closed-lipped giggle as she launches herself through the air towards the building, latches onto the side of it, and just begins to very quickly climb up it. Into the night, you can you can actually see as she's climbing some of the ghost children clinging to her, trying to just hold on as she just ascends at a very rapid pace. Thus concludes your encounter with Alsacia. It seems that she has just decided you're okay to live for now. That is what happens with Mikey. Eventually, Mikey, you're outside of the lab and just on the street, right?
Yeah, I think at this point he's like, okay, kids, who lives closest? Show of hands.
They all raise their hands. They don't know where they are.
Yeah, okay. And then I think he would try to explain, like, we're here in the Gothiel, like, area. Like, who lives around here? Anyone?
They all just start pointing in random directions and talking at the same time.
I think he's like, how do none of you kids know your address? Everybody should know their own address.
Oh
okay.
No, they're all shouting their addresses as they're pointing into random directions. They're not. Some of them are not pointing into the direction that address would be. So they don't know directions.
That's fair. I think at this point he knows that there's 54 of them, so there's a nice even number, and he's like, all right, everybody's getting a buddy system, and like he starts like making sure every kid is holding hands with another kid as he gets this child army ready.
Yeah, I'd say around that time you can hear the sirens and see the flashes of police cars pulling into your location. One of the officers gets out of the patrol car, with like body armor and a shotgun. He looks like he's a little overweight. He sees you. He looks at all these kids. He adjusts his helmet.
Oh, thank God you're here just in time. How many can you fit in there? Because these kids need to get home. There's a riot going on.
Kid, why are you talking like that?
Okay, hang on. And I think at that point he would probably pull his badge out because he wears it around his neck. Just goes, I'm Officer De La Cruz from Aqua. Look, It's been a night, okay? There should be more of me. I get it. But, you know. And then he just kind of like waves his arms to the general chaos.
One of the other officers in the car like leans out the passenger side window. Hey, this is one of the junior detectives from the summer program. Wow, kid.
He's pinching the bridge of his nose. He's like, yeah. Get the kids home. Bye. And he just like I just take to the air, and I assume he's checking to see if like there's any sort of comms back. And if not, then like he's got to figure out where everybody else is.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult, but when you have an aerial view, I'd say it's easier for you. As they watch you take off, the one cop says to the other one, what are they feeding these kids? Huh. Because you just launched away from them and you're just a child with a badge. They don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, that's fine. It happens.
You see a few things as you are in the air. A few areas that you can help. One is you see Enya. No, actually, you don't see Enya. She's in the sewer. So you can see a colorful figure flying away into the distance, flying some direction. If you look down, you can see Claudia currently in a broken piece of sewer trying to, like, it's that familiar truck. It looks like she's trying to contain this thing. And you also see what looks like a black car driving up a wall and a man trying to climb up a fire escape with one hand and a very tiny pistol in the other hand.
Would I know Helena's vehicle? I don't think Mikey's
this is a new one.
Possibly ever seen it.
Yeah, you likely haven't seen this before, and from this distance you do have very good vision, but there's a lot of action going on, so being able to lock in and even see that that's Cortland may be difficult for you.
Yeah, I think he would probably head over to the car wall climbing, because he sees that like Enya's dealing with that down there, and she might be handling it, but he doesn't know what this whole car situation is.
Okay. You will get in on that action in one moment. To return to Claudia and Enya. Claudia and Enya, you have a truck in an incoming earthquake that could easily detonate it. What would you like to do here?
I wanted to ask, what does the inside of the truck look like?
It's pretty well smashed at this point. Parts of it are crumpled for sure, and the containers holding very large amounts of green craft look like they're ready to rupture.
So totally unstable.
Pretty unstable, yeah.
Maybe we should just like try to do like a tunnel collapsed on either end of it.
Okay. You want to try to bury it?
Yeah, like cut off both ends of the sewers.
Okay. In that case, I need a description of how you're doing that, and I need a power roll from both of you. You're trying to pass a 5 to see if you can collapse one end and the other end around this thing, and try to basically seal it off. Claudia, your like pearl sealant, that nacra that you make, probably might be enough to waterproof a barrier till you can get like actual hazmat crews in here. Although you do have, I would say, actually, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Ice Peak's hazmat person is here. He can apply, or they can apply some protective measures to try and keep this from getting into the water if you inform them of the plan.
Then why not?
Okay, go ahead and both of you give me a power roll. You're trying to beat a 5.
Okay.
Oof. Okay, you got a 5, Claudia. Enya, now's when the compel happens. You can put yourself into overdrive and force liquid light through yourself to get a fate point back. You will take a consequence for this.
Yeah, I don't want to fate point, so yeah. What's the consequence?
The consequence is you are light scorched. Your anatomy is currently like overloaded with liquid light. It's a mild consequence. You don't have to make it a moderate one. Or you already have a mild consequence. I'm pretty sure you just have no consequences right now. Okay. As you pump liquid light through your veins to smash in parts of the sewer, there's no small part of you for just a brief moment that, like, you get the feeling you're not actually using your full level of strength as you do this. Hard to tell because you just scorched out your veins, and it'll take them some time to recover, but it feels like you may not be hitting your full potential. However, you do have a fate point again, so you can use that if you'd like.
To reroll, right?
Yeah, to reroll. Oof.
Oh my God.
Still not high enough. You can take another consequence to light scorch yourself and get another fate point.
Yeah, oh man, I can't believe that happened twice. Yeah, do that.
Okay. What do you, oh my God. You have one consequence box left. Something inside of you still says, not good enough. Like, is it the damage? Is it the green crack that you were exposed to? Something in your system is slow, sluggish, and your arms actually feel weaker than they did before. You have 2 consequences on you. Taking another one could potentially just take you out.
I mean, she's gonna be wondering who it was that was talking to her earlier. It wasn't her stand, right?
Was not her stand. You can have another compel. If you don't do this, if you don't achieve this end, like, the downtrodden that you are so invested in protecting will suffer. The people of the city will suffer, and this sewer system is connected to many of the poorer parts of the city. So you can, basically, if you take the compel and you fail this roll, you will take yourself out. You have no choice but to take the compel at this point.
Yeah, let me think.
Okay. You have 1 left.
Yeah, I guess she can't do it.
Yeah, you collapse to your knees as the light that you're pushing through your body has now scorched your internal organs, burned out your veins. Like, you are Your body has really, it's not often that you're in this much pain, but you are pushing yourself to the total and complete limit, and it still seems like it's not enough.
Sorry, Claudia.
And yeah, what are you doing?
She has, you just see her as like, she's basically charred, smoking, and I'd say there's blood leaking out of her mouth and eyes and nose. But she's basically microwaved herself on the internals.
Oh God.
She's trying to match and break this part of the street, and it seems like she's pushed herself too far.
I leave the rest to you for now.
Claudia, what are you gonna do about this?
Oh boy. We did try sealing it up, so
Yeah, your partner is she's down pretty much. Like she can't, I'd say and yeah, at this point you pretty much collapsed.
Alright. Yeah, faceplant.
oh boy, well. I could try to finish her work, but I think oh boy.
Go ahead and give me a power roll, I guess. Yeah, you're still trying to hit a 5, but actually at this point I'd say you can feel the tremors starting to begin. So the difficulty has now been up to, we'll say, a 7.
Oh good.
You have to keep your balance, detonate this thing, or like collapse in this thing, and deal with the timing.
Alright. Guess I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Oof.
A 2 is no good. How many fate points do you have left?
I have 1 fate point left, so I guess re-rolling this.
Yeah.
Okay, a 4, and
A 4, you can succeed with a consequence or basically a pretty, it'll be pretty severe. The earthquake is about to hit. Your partner is down, and if you're trying to do this and get her out of the way, that's going to be difficult. If Enya is just where she is and the earthquake happens, she could just easily slide right in with everything in the sewer and then get buried. You know, I think that her death condition is being crushed. So if that occurs, she's dead and not coming back.
yeah, what would the consequence be? Because I think she definitely wants to succeed with the consequence. Like she risks herself to make sure Inya isn't gonna slide down and be crushed.
In order to succeed on this power roll, you probably have to blow out your vocal cords. It's a severe consequence. That triggers your death condition, so you'd be on almost the same level, and you'd have 1 consequence slot left.
Sure. She will do it.
Okay, so you blow out your vocal cords to collapse in that part of the ground. But the earthquake has started to actually now hit. The ground that you're standing on is getting severely thrown around. And with the damage that you just took, the fact that you have taken damage from your fight with Rhesus Negative, like you're basically in a very perilous situation here. If you take more damage, there's a chance you could die now. So you have to somehow get Enya out of here without getting killed yourself.
Oh boy.
And she's very heavy. Especially in her full battle form. She's pretty massive.
I guess we're gonna try to exit real fucking quick and pray it works.
Okay. As you are going to grab her, like, and get her out of here, you can actually hear other people screaming. Some of the cops, the patrol cops who came to suppress the riots, are trapped sort of in this area, like the ones who were just above ground while you were fighting Father John are now like they are likely to be trapped within the range of this earthquake that's occurring, and they're just humans. So now you have to decide: do you want to try to save them, or do you want to try to save Enya? There's obviously way more of them.
Oh God. She will try to save it because Inya is right here, right now.
I'd say Enya. Yeah, I'll let you gather the strength to speak a couple words before you lose consciousness. Is there anything you want to tell Claudia?
We're the only ones that can do anything to help them. Claudia.
Are you sure you could die?
She'll just she's out.
Claudia, you have the basically last request of your partner.
Well, I mean, she's not gonna ignore the last request. She will probably go.
Try to move. How do you try to get the cops away from this area? Just yelling at them to move, pushing them physically. A lot of them are having trouble.
Probably.
Oh, you can't yell. You blew your voice out.
Yeah, she blew her voice out, so she's probably turned into her war form for once and started just basically trying her best to use the pearl stuff to kind of form like very basic like they're starting to be trapped under like rubble and stuff, probably like very basic crowbars and things to kind of help enhance her super strength a little bit and just start trying to get the rubble off of them and try to move faster to them.
Okay. As you're doing that, and perhaps as you're saving, I would say, the majority of the cops, you see that a few have been pinned and are not moving anymore. They've been just crushed by debris. You also can see, you hear a thunderous crack as the pavement beneath Enya simply falls inwards. And the sound of the crack is far louder than it should be. Like, it sounds like this isn't just the tunnel collapsing, this is a sinkhole caused by the earthquake. As you look back at the sound of this and watch her fall into an abyss, for a moment you can it feels like you can sort of see that there are black feathers tracing through the air and flying inwards towards the pit after her.
Oh boy.
The flow of catastrophe continues unabated. Enya, unconscious, badly injured, very close to death. If she hits that distance, that sinkhole, that is crushing. She will be crushed. She falls so deep into the blackness that you can't even see her anymore.
I mean, she's both literally speechless and probably saying a silent prayer for her, hoping that beyond hope she somehow makes it out.
The size of the sinkhole, the just incalculable depth. It seems it seems like there could be no way. She doesn't have any flight. She was very badly burned trying to save people from the green crack truck explosion. Her leg was still injured, yeah. Yeah, it seems like she's just gone. There's no sound coming from that sinkhole either. You're someone with very good hearing. The depth makes echoes loud, and you have not even heard the echo of her hitting anything.
2.
You have to press on. Enya is lost in the darkness. And Claudia, you still have these injured cops to try to get away from the scene. You have your own injuries to be concerned with.
Yeah. She's very reluctant to just leave someone behind, but it was her last wish. She's not going to just abandon that.
Okay. We will return to what's happening with you guys in a moment, but because you saved them and because they are now above ground, though they are like very weird looking to the police and other like rioters and civilians, you see that the sewer mermen are actually trying to assist you in moving people and moving rubble off of people. They're just doing their best. You can also see that Enya's squad is standing around the pit looking down into it. You can hear one of them is now just loudly crying, and another one is trying to hold back his friend from just jumping down after her.
She'll probably go over and go, probably weakly, come on, we got work to do.
The one who wanted to jump in just looks at you and grabs you by like the collar, Claudia. Don't leave anyone behind! She was our leader!
Yeah, and what would your leader want you to do right now, huh? Huh? Fight or help?
With tearful eyes, he releases you from his grip and just looks away, almost in shame, before gathering the others and starting to move towards like helping you with crowd control efforts and moving these people. The last one to look down into the pit after you, Enya, is your probably the leader, yeah, Arapema, the Arapema fish. They give like a small and kind of weak, shaky salute before they close their eyes, turn around, and join the others in their efforts to secure this zone and help these people get to safety. That is what happens with that part of town. Mikey, you hear the thunderous collapse of a sinkhole opening up behind, say it's somewhere in the distance as you close in on this car that's driving up a wall. You managed to get there just in time for the car to drive up past Cortland and shear his arm off at the shoulder. The arm that was holding the gun, actually, it just like gets cut clean off as he like clings to a windowsill as best as he can, trying not to fall. I speak, you can feel his heart remaining steady, of course, despite all this. He doesn't even seem to have a vocal reaction to losing an arm. It's nothing. An arm, a leg. Surviving is more important than that. You can actually feel his heart stay steady as he pulls himself up onto a landing and sits against the wall looking up at Helena, who is doing a U-turn vertically and preparing to drive down at him. I don't think I was meant to live. I think I was born to just die. Like this. Like a sacrifice. These people, they've been trying to kill me since I got here. And I don't even understand why. Feels like the whole world wants me dead. Except for you. Right?
I want you to live, Cortland. I want at least one of us to be free.
I speak, you feel his heart stop.
Oh.
Your eel is actually resisting you and causing him to go into cardiac arrest. You can see him lean forward and gasp.
No!
You're gonna have to give me a power roll twice. The first one is yours, the second one is the other spirit.
I'm fighting myself! Okay, first one you said was me?
Mm-hmm. The second one is the other spirit.
Oh, please.
+2.
No!
You have any fate points?
Yeah, I have all my fate points.
Okay, you can use that to, like, what do you invoke as you try to overcome this other will?
Unorthodox, eccentric doctor. I want to remind myself that I've made an oath that I wouldn't hurt anyone anymore.
Okay, yeah, no, that works. You are able to overcome yourself. You hear him breathe again. Some people say you see your life flash, but I didn't see anything. He's still weak from suffering minor cardiac arrest, having had a seizure, being electrocuted, losing an arm, rapidly losing blood. Mikey, that's what you basically swoop in on, is this man. You can see now that it's Cortland. He's losing one arm, bleeding out badly, and Helena is driving down at him with tremendous speed.
If that's the case, I'm going to slingshot another one of my travelers at her tires to hopefully cause the tire to spin the other way and just absolutely just fuck up the vehicle. Is what I'm ultimately aiming for.
Okay, go for it. Give me a sniper roll. The Travelers just hits this spiked wheel that is very heavily reinforced and bounces off. Just gets deflected and flies off into a random direction. You can see a very wide, malicious grin on her face as she just is gripping the wheel and screaming inside of the in the driver's seat of this like very reinforced, extremely deadly demolition derby car, specially fitted for this type of assassination. Do you have any fate points left?
I don't.
Ah. Jeez. Okay. In that case, you may be able to stop her. I'm going to give you a compel. Sure, you can't stop her with a projectile, but your body is very slippery. If you threw yourself under the path of her car, they may not have the grip necessary. Her tires may just be, she could spin out, but she'd have to run over what's left of your body mass to do this. Since it's a compel and you don't have any fate points left, I guess.
Yeah, I take it.
You can't resist, yeah. So how do you do it?
I think Mikey would try and pick up some like air, some distance, between like him up in the air and then like down at Helena, and then he just looks very wet, I guess is the only way to describe it. It's not super pleasant. And he'll just kind of like stare down and like he knows exactly where he needs to put himself to fuck up this vehicle. And he'll just, I guess he's realized that like he can't just like shoot himself down and like grab Cortland and go. Like that's not gonna work. So he just spears himself in the same way that he shot Icebeak. Just goes into basically a nosedive for like free fall.
Okay.
Right under the tires or right at her.
So Icebeak, you just see this like almost a lance lightning fast fly into the path of her tires. Helena tries to regain control by spinning the wheel wildly as the car veers left to right. Now that Mikey's basically guts are starting to wrap around her tires, she howls in madness as her car bounces off the wall, flips over, shaves off Cortland's front bang with one of the blades, and just goes careening towards the ground. Cortland looks down at this. Mikey, you take a consequence, obviously, for being run over, I would say. Once the car hits the ground, it lands on its side, so you're not in darkness, but it is night out here, and the impact and the earthquakes that have occurred actually caused the streetlights to go out.
Oh, real quick, because my severe consequence prior to this was the clinging cursed child. Could I just swap it?
I would say, yeah, you can just take that out and replace it with you have been basically brutally pasted.
Oh, I just put roadkill.
Roadkill? Yeah, that's fine.
It's what happened. Like, there's no nice way to put what I just did to myself.
After you are basically roadkilled, the side door, the driver door, is kicked open. Helena pulls herself out of the vehicle and tumbles to the ground. She looks at the... Is there any part of you that's recognizably you that's left, or is it just goo?
I think I would say, like, maybe, like, his badge is maybe dinged up and, like, ran over and flattened. His bucket hat is probably somewhere, if it's not been torn to shreds. Like, there's evidence of Mikey having been here.
Helena leans closer to the goo. He was a nice guy. She leans back and puts a cigarette between her lips and flicks a metal lighter open. Oh well. She lights her cigarette, begins to walk backwards, and just flicks the lighter at the pool of gasoline that's gathering around the side of the car that's hit the ground. So that's kind of the last thing that you see, Mikey, is like, it's not darkness, but you are gonna be burnt to a crisp.
Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely fucking cooked. Like, I'm the forest after a wildfire levels of scorched. But guess what? The fire creates light, so I don't die, dipshit. Keep going.
I mean, that's great and all, but
I don't have to be in a good place to be alive. I just have to be alive.
You're basically being burned alive as if you were in hell right now. The pain is very real, man.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
So Mikey is currently a burning goo car. Helena is looking up at where Cortland is. You can see her stand manifest behind her, this smoking black behemoth with a long black robe holding a scythe and various exhaust pipes sticking out of its shoulders and back. She basically, the blades on her stand punch into the wall as she starts to climb herself up slowly after Cortland. Can't get away that easy. Cortland is looking down at this. I speak, his heartbeat has not changed, but he does say, we need to go.
Cortland,
This is it.
no, I need you to run.
He stumbles to his feet on the landing and looks left to right. Where can I run? I don't see an exit. It's not very bright. The earthquakes cause him to almost fall off of the landing. He has to catch himself against the stone with one hand. I think this is it, Doctor. It's not a very good diagnosis for me. I wanted to make time. That's why I was changing my watch. I got this crazy idea. If I could just add time to it, like a new number, maybe it would give me more time. But I don't think that's how it works. I think I just got myself killed. But you can still survive. You just go on with your life. You're not even all here, are you? You're probably safe.
All that is left of me is here. So, I think I have a way to slow down time for you
The Helena is now extremely close. I'd say she's getting within striking distance.
I have, like, felt the brain connection with the brain crown.
True.
Can I try to use the last of my eels to slow down time for Cortland?
You just want to slow time down for him.
Yeah, just so he can, like, perceive it just an inch faster.
You'd have to make his heart beat faster to do it. This isn't a problem for mermen. It is a problem for humans.
Well, I am currently his heart, so...
True. You can just make yourself beat as fast as humanly possible.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
I would like to try that.
You caused him to basically experience slowed down time.
Yes.
He seems to look up just as Helena's blade is about an inch away from his nose, coming in to stab him right in the head. And then looks down at the ground where the fire has frozen. What is this? Are you doing this?
I can make a little more time.
So you're the one who could do it. I should have just come to the doctor first. He steps away from Helena's blade very carefully. I can't tell if this is real or a dream. Or maybe I'm already dead. Maybe I was dead the entire time, even. It's just been surreal. So out of the ordinary. I never thought that I would have such a life like this, just full of surprises. Everywhere I look, meet someone nice, involved in a little petty theft here and there, do security work, even get to play private investigator like the movies. It's been fun, Doctor. I've had so much fun. And when I was born, I didn't even know what fun was. It really put a smile on my face.
I cannot say that from the bottom of the sea I knew what fun was either. Thank you for experiencing it with me.
Yeah. He sits down against the wall again. I don't think you can keep this up for very long. And the amount of effort you're expending probably means my heart's gonna stop soon, I imagine. You don't have infinite energy by any chance, do you?
I am electric.
You can... Yeah. He holds his chest. Drink my blood, and you'll be able to regenerate yourself enough that you won't have to die with me. That's what I'm gonna tell you to do. You just have to do it. I'm not gonna make it. One of us should. You still have cases to solve and crime to fight. I'm just a witness in a case. You have to. I'm not gonna make it. I know when my time is up.
I promise not to do that.
Well, at some point I probably promised not to die. Let's both break a promise at the same time, huh? Seems reasonable.
I still have a stand.
He looks over at Helena and Black Parade. Enough to fight that thing? I doubt it. You need blood if you want to win. If you have any chance of hoping to win, you need that blood. He's going to compel you now.
Oh no. Okay.
you are, in fact, you have a motto: humans are leeching parasites. But for once, you found one who is offering you their blood, their very life that's left. And you know what he's saying is true. Without his blood, you will die here. Helena is easily still in good enough condition to take you out. Cortland, as he says, you're a doctor. He is a dead man.
Oh, but if I kill him, I start the apocalypse, don't I?
Up to you. You have a compel, though. Do you pay a fate point, or do you...
Yeah.
You pay a fate point not to?
Yeah, I'd rather go out with him.
Okay.
I will start using my stand to fight back, though.
Okay. Well, you'll have to unfreeze time to focus enough to do that.
Do I? Or can I use that to my advantage? My stand is speed-based.
Unfortunately, you cannot. That would be like Star Platinum that you have as an ability. That would be
too much.
Too strong. You'll have to unfreeze time to interact with her.
He is a dead man, isn't he?
He seems to be.
Can I do this without killing him?
He's already lost so much blood.
Oh, man.
From having his arm cut off.
Yeah. Oh. I hate it, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay, you drain his blood. Slowly, it's like in small trickles. It's getting pretty thin, but it is human blood. Actually, it tastes a little funny to you, I would say. Tastes like something oddly familiar, I'd say. It has a taste. It is human blood, characteristically, but it has a slightly off flavor, almost like floury. It has floral notes very strangely to you, and because of that, it's actually pretty good. As you drain the blood from him, you can see a very slight smile cross over his face as his head just slumps forward and his heart stops. Even though you're still beating, he does not have the blood to pump through his system enough to keep his organs intact, so he is pretty much out. And if you have any hope of fighting Helena, you will have to ungraft from him.
Yeah. So I have to step out of his body.
Okay. You proceed to stab out of his body and towards Helena.
Yes.
Okay. Make a speed attack, I guess, against her. So your stand clashes directly with Helena's scythe blade. She seems thrown off that she's fighting a stand instead of her target of just killing Cortland. But it doesn't cause her to stop with her fury. Her attack is ongoing and it seems focused on death. She hasn't even noticed that Cortland has stopped moving and his eyes have gone blank.
I have a fate point. I just used my trouble. Can I bonus this?
You want to bonus it, give it a +2?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to strike her?
I feel like I would be trying to reach directly into her chest.
Oh, you can't one-hit kill her. What are you doing?
I know I can't. But I mean, I would be. That is the strike I am making.
You're trying to strike her in the heart directly?
Yeah, with my claws, yeah.
Okay. She obviously is looking directly at you, and so will grab hold of either side of your stand's arm with her own hands and freeze it there while its fingers are gripped around her heart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She just shakes her head. Can't believe you'd go for that. I like it when people try to fight dirty. She, you can see her scythe blades raise on Black Parade as she just starts raining down blows against you. This is a clash.
Okay.
A 5, a 6, and a 2. She is going to invoke that she, she's going to invoke that she lives fast and dies hard. So while she has your hand around her heart, she improves her last roll to a 4. So she gets a 5, a 6, and a 4. And yeah, she rains blows on what remains of your stand-in body to horrific degree. Like she's not just like cutting you for actual organ damage. She seems to be bleeding you by 1,000 of these very quick scythe blade cuts, causing your severe consequence. You are now bleeding out. The blood that Cortland just gave to you is now, she's like just stealing it from you. And the red hot fumes that are expelled from Black Parade, that smog, are also fucking with your bloodstream. Like it's causing a sort of sped up carbon monoxide poisoning from this proximity. So you're not just bleeding out, you're also starting, like your red blood cells are starting to have trouble like actually binding with the oxygen. Elena stands over you triumphantly, even, like now that she's on the landing with both scythe blades crossed across her chest in front of her. I get to kill 2 cops in one night. What a treat. Her eyes glance down at Cortland. He doesn't look so good. Couldn't save your little boyfriend? Huh? Too bad.
I can. Just kill me faster. And then I want to electrocute.
You're electrocuting her? Okay. Give me a power roll. A 4. When you go to electrocute her, you can see that it is causing her to shock a little, and your grip around her heart is tightening, but she manages to wrest your hand out of her chest, and like with her smoking hair, she actually blows a ring of smoke from her mouth into your face.
Ugh. How many, what's her consequences like?
She has 0 consequences.
Oof, okay.
This is it. Now which one were you? The doctor? I hated doctors. They never really helped. They kept telling me there was something wrong. And they'd give me pills, but none of it ever really took. Some doctors are better than others, I guess. Maybe when you see them in hell, you can tell them to get their act together. She raises one scythe blade high above her head. Last words? Do you have any?
Only last instructions. For death no more.
She brings the scythe blade down right towards you. I speak. You are, we'll say your ability to slow time gives you something of a different view than most people would have here.
Okay.
You can sort of see Cortland has begun to shrink.
Okay.
He's just slowly shrinking down. He's about a foot smaller than he was. And the landing that you're on is about a couple feet wider, enough that Helena, when she finishes the blow, she actually just swipes through air. She seems confused by this and rushes towards you to swipe at you again. But the same thing occurs. The floor gets wider. Cortland is getting smaller.
Am I also shrinking?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Cortland, now that he's about, we'll say, 3 feet tall, just gets up to his feet and stumbles for a second. He points at Helena. Bad dog. And then snaps his fingers. You watch as the landing contracts rapidly. Cortland returns to his normal height, and Helena is cut into ribbons. You weren't even with your time perception, you're not fast enough to see what he did. Helena is now like, her arms are flying off of her torso, and you can only see the shocked expression on her face as she just begins to fall towards the ground, trying to grab onto anything but not having arms to do so. Mikey, you're still conscious enough that you can feel and maybe even see the impact of Helena falling down onto her own car into the flames. Her eyes are just shocked wide open. Cortland turns towards you, I speak. Mm-hmm. There's no jail cell in the world that can hold me. Adios. And then he just looks at you, leans against the edge of the landing, and falls backwards. I'd say what's left of your blood, you sort of get the idea, or to look over the edge, you can sort of see a black winged figure taking flight into the sky away from Golgotha tenements. In the distance, Cortland is grabbing his head, which has begun to like pulse and bleed. I see it. I grasp it. The watch that was on your desk has vanished and flies towards him as he is basically, it begins to expand and then wrap around his waist. Black Swan, I see you, but it's not enough. It's not enough. He reaches up towards the sky. It's not and then he falls, just plummets. You just see him fly up and then nosedive in a spiral towards the ground, into the distance. You don't see where he lands, but it actually goes he falls into the very same sinkhole that Enya fell into. He only got about that far before he seemed to overload. And into the darkness, he also disappears. He doesn't have a heart. He doesn't have any blood. And you just watched him get up, basically eviscerate a person without you being able to tell how he did it, and then flew away.
Ah!
The flow of catastrophe continues unabated.
Try. I should not have eaten my boyfriend.
Thus, it continues. Enya, somewhere in the darkness, you start to wake up as someone is dragging you upwards. You can feel like the wind on your face at first. Somebody seems to be pulling you, though you are very heavy, so this must be quite a feat of strength.
Hello?
You feel them kind of almost like they're shaking as they're doing this. They push you up onto one of the ledges of the sinkhole, allowing you to at least be safe. Then try to climb up themselves, but can't do it.
It's pretty dark in here, right?
It is extremely dark, but you have still a light aura, I would say, glowing around you now that you are not quite dead. Clinging to the edge of the cliff is one of the sewer mermen. His arms look like they are holding on like by only a few straps of meat and bone. Having to drag you up and try to push you to safety means that he can only hang here. Lady Cup is alive. Lady Cup. I not climb back up. I not make it. Lady Cup is doing good. Lady Cup, stop the drugs. Lady Cup, fight the bad human. I see Lady Cup giving food to friends. I love you, Lady Cup. I love you. I love life and light. And one of his arms begins to snap and then tears off entirely till he's just dangling there. I'm afraid of dark. I never wanted to admit to friends. We live in sewer. But his other arm snaps and you can't even see him. You just hear a distant echoing scream as he falls into the abyss. His hands are still clinging to the ledge, but everything below the elbow is just gone.
Didn't even catch your face.
You're still a very deep distance down into the sinkhole, but it is enough that you are not dead, at least. He managed to catch you when you were falling, although it did cause him significant damage, and he managed to drag you back up here so that you didn't plummet to the bottom. Your light of consciousness is still, I'd say it's still there enough so that you can actually see a black shape falling down through the sinkhole, upside down. With your perception of time, I would say you can slow it down enough to see that it's Cortland.
Oh, can she try to use her broken tail?
To catch him?
Yeah.
All right, you managed to maybe catch him by the leg, we'll say. Actually, give me a speed roll. See how well you can catch him.
Not speed. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you managed to catch him.
She'll try to bring her tail in.
As he is being dragged in, you can see his head is twitching, and now that he's this close, your liquid light will react to it if you have any. There is an electromagnetic aura or sphere around his head, and as it's rapidly convulsing, whenever it does a very major twist or turn, there is the ground is shaking very hard, correlated to the earthquakes. Like, it just seems like he's either reacting to the earthquakes or possibly causing them.
Oh. Does he look... Hey, can you hear me?
He looks at you and his face twists into a weird cat-like grin. Detective, hi. Hello? Did you save me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, you survived.
Do I know you?
The ledge that you're on begins to shrink. I don't know, do you? It's like half of its length now, so you and him are in danger of falling into the pit. Do you know me, detective?
I think I do.
He grabs you by the neck and pulls his face in very closely. I don't think you know me as well as you think you do. Fourth dimensional awareness is a motherfucker because you can never talk to anyone about it. They never believe you. When you locked me up, you made a big fucking mistake, cop. I'll be back. I could kill you right here, but I'd rather not. Fate is also a motherfucker. He actually uses that hand to push you away from him and himself back off of the cliff. You can hear him laughing to himself as he falls down into the darkness.
Goddamn Leroy! Can she try climbing up?
It's gonna be difficult. You're still technically taken out, so the strength to do it is like you probably mustered the last of it to catch him. For now, you're just gonna have to wait until a rescue can arrive, maybe, or you regain your strength through regeneration to pull yourself up, or at least try to call for help. However, once he gets far enough into the depths of the world, I will say that the electromagnetic interference that was blocking your comms ceases. Like your radio starts to work.
So she can make an attempt at a call.
Yes, you could technically do that.
Hey, this is Orinoco. Can anyone hear me?
Enya, as you're making that call, there is something like a light from the depths. But it's not quite like the light that you're used to.
She'll break a piece of her shell off and throw it down there.
You hear a pop and a bang when you do that.
She'll try again on the comm.
That light from the bottom of the tunnel is still glowing. Like, it's now getting more intense.
Can she try to gaze into it?
Yes, you can. What you see when you gaze into it, no, you don't gotta roll for it. You can just look down.
Great.
You're not sure what you're looking at, but it looks like you see in the distance, down in the depths there, the planet Earth. You see some shape flying down towards. You can only see him in the distance, but you definitely do see the Earth.
Oh my god.
It's like looking down a giant tunnel at the planet that you're currently on. It looks very different, however. This planetoid is dry. And then you see another very large planetoid. It looks like slowly careening into it.
Is that Thea?
You watch as these two planetoids gently, slowly collide and begin to wrap around one another. And the figure that you saw earlier that was plummeting seems to just disappear into the resulting shockwave and explosion.
Is it an explosion that goes up the tunnel?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. Not only does it like begin to rush up the tunnel, it actually lifts you up and starts blasting you up into the air.
Great.
This explosion, like you can feel the forces cosmic basically push you up, rocket you all the way to the top of the sinkhole, and then sends you slamming down into a car. Your body is resilient. You were really beaten up. You're still alive, but once again, you've been thrown into the sky. The explosion also is tearing up a lot of the area around the sinkhole, just blowing it straight up. And then afterwards, you have the wherewithal to realize that it's starting to pull things down into it. It's almost like a vacuum reversal.
Oh, shit.
Claudia, Mikey, Ice Peak, you are all going to be aware of this at the same time. It's not just that it was a sinkhole. The sinkhole is expanding, and there's no telling where it's going to stop. What will you do? Try to flee? Mikey, how are you going to flee? Fuck.
Nah, I'm just goop, man. I'm falling in. Unless somebody comes scoops me up.
Oh, man. I guess someone could, huh?
The closest Scoopy.
Ice Peak, you're kind of like right above him.
Yeah.
You could try to go scoop him up. You know he's down there.
Go scoop him, yeah.
So, I mean, when you get down there, you do see Helena is just like lying there pretty much dead. Like, you get the death sense from her. It is a little strange, though, because her stand is still expelling fumes as she lies there.
She's still her. Is her stand gone full demon?
Hard to say. She seems to be lying there lifeless. The stand is also lying there expelling smoke.
Is it possible to use her body to make a car and drive away? Like, no, I guess not.
You can hijack her body.
I guess I'll hijack her body.
There is a risk, though. If you do that, you could maybe accidentally resurrect her. Up to you. Her stand still is active, which means that her soul hasn't left the vessel. But by getting into her body to hijack it, you'd have to restart her vitals to get her to move and basically use her body. She would still be unconscious enough for you to basically puppet her. But unless you kill her after you're done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's better than a demon running around. Is her running around? I'm not sure.
Up to you.
I need the extra arms to help me gather up Mikey anyway.
You'll have to collect her arms, which got chopped off. They're lying around scattered.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Okay, using your abilities of reanimation, Helena's cells are definitely dying. So she is dying for sure.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem like she's going to get any better once you're this close. But you are able to, you can regraft her arms on and use them to gather up Mikey. Her stand, curiously, stays completely stationary where it was. It's now just standing up straight and floating in the air, kind of up and down. It's not following or moving or reacting.
To her at all?
No.
Mm. Can I talk to it?
It's not a talking stand.
Okay, just checking.
You're basically, as you are working her body, by the way, similar to how Mikey felt, you do feel like you can exert electricity a bit more to get her to really be animated and effective and fast. You also did this when you made Cortland's heart beat faster so that you could get him to slow down time. Something about you and electricity just makes sense.
Yeah, I'll do that to make us go as fast as possible because there's a catch faster becoming.
Okay. Claudia, I would say for you, you do see the blast launch Enya into the air and then fling her body on top of a car. She is actually
Ooh.
moving a little and groaning.
All right. Well, Claudia's probably going to actually go over to the car and I guess use Mervin's super strength to just start pulling her away from like I guess a mini gurney, using the car as a mini gurney.
Yeah.
Can Enya pull basically Trace and just shed her armoring?
Oh yeah, you can definitely just like drop that off. You're gonna be very vulnerable, but
It's worth. Already jacked up anyway.
there is something on your armor though when you shed it off. There is a golden disc tucked into part of your burned up jacket or armor plating.
Wait, Claudia. Well, can Enya just grab it herself?
You're gonna have to do it quickly because the sinkhole is rapidly expanding.
No.
Can you do it in time? Give me a speed roll.
Oh my god.
A 1. You can grab hold of it, but as you do, the sinkhole is now so fast and rapidly going to be under your feet that if you tried to turn it around, you wouldn't have time. Claudia, though, you can see Enya do this, and you see she is at the very edge of the sinkhole, about to fall back into it to perhaps an even worse death than before. You just got your friend and partner back. What would you like to do here?
I guess immediately she's looking to where the hell she's looking. She's what she's trying to do.
You see her grabbing a golden disc, I'd say.
Okay, I guess she's gonna try to help get the disc and just basically try to like I guess she will probably actually call on like a stone and try to let's see how close is she to grabbing the disc.
I would say, yeah, she's gotten her hands on it. She has it.
Okay, so this is gonna sound weird, but can I petrify her arm so the disc is clenched tightly in it while I'm grabbing the car and moving her fast away?
Oh, yeah, why not? Fuck it. If she allows it.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll grow a new one. It's fine.
All right.
Then you're able to get away with Enya. She has a golden disc in her possession. Mikey, you are scooped up by the body of Helena, who is like just her head is flopping around like left to right as she is running you away as fast as she can.
I mean, I think at this point, enough of him is probably congealed together that there's like 2 eye stalks and like just a really like goopy body trying to keep itself, trying to solidify a little bit harder, just looking up at you.
Okay. When you look up, you see 2 things. One is you see a familiar white sheeted figure clinging to a roof and quickly vaulting off away from the Golgotha tenements. The other is you see a glowing, colorful figure who's like looking down, but not into your direction. He seems to be looking down towards the origin of the sinkhole. Once he sees something, he simply takes flight and leaves the area. For those Claudia and Enya, he has seen that you have the golden disc in your possession. And so as you reach, I would say if you're just running and trying to get people to leave as quickly as you can, there's a lot of people who are not going to make it out of this, but you can do all that you can to make sure that they do. You watch, I would say your group watches, as you're running and trying to escape this growing sinkhole, Lords of Acid that have either come back to being conscious or were involved in some of the fighting are caught unaware and are starting to fall into the sinkhole as well. What's that?
No, just the catastrophe.
The catastrophe is real, and they're just being swallowed up by it. They're screaming, howling. They never ask for help. Some of them try to grab you and drag you along with them if they can get the chance, but the force is too great of the draw of that vacuum, so they try to grab you, but they're just pulled away. You can see that on their faces are like wicked expressions, almost like they're not scared of death. They just want to take as many people with them as they can. One of them actually does manage to get his arms around a cop and laugh as he pulls that man down into the growing cosmic pit that is expanding outwards.
Wow. Asshole.
What event? Yep, go ahead.
Can any try to hide the disc?
Yeah, you can try to hide it somewhere. Sure, it's about the size of a CD.
Okay, can she... Well, she's pretty weak, actually. Can she hand it over to Claudia? I know she said she petrified it's her hand, but...
You have to break off a finger to do it, but sure.
Yeah, worth it. It's just a finger.
All right, Claudia, you are given possession of one golden disc.
All right.
I would say by the time you guys all reach where it seems like the sinkhole has stopped, you are at the very outer limits of the Golgotha tenements. That seems to be where the sinkhole has ceased moving. It's now just there. Looking down into it, after you reach the edge, the explosions and force are incredible, but eventually the whole thing just fades to black until the only thing left is now where the Golgotha tenements were. There's now a massive, massive drop somewhere. Who knows how deep this thing is? Future inhabitants of the island and those who were there to witness this suspect that this hole just goes straight to hell.
Great.
But no one's been brave enough to go find out if that's true. The Golgotha tenements cease to be. Father John needs to formulate a new plan. And somewhere, Alsatia, once she finally gets to safety, has just decided to break into someone's home they're not currently there, and just sits down at a dinner table and starts putting her children, ghost children, around that's in different seats, and just leans on the top of the table and takes one small knife out and starts to cut away the stitches between her lips. Thus, now you have concluded Judgment Night. We'll have to figure out what you do with Helena's body. It is now reanimated. So, at the edge of the Golgotha pit, there are some of the mermen that are there. Some of them, the sewer mermen. You see that they're helping the cops to round up members of the mob that they were able to find so that they can be arrested. They seem to be working very closely with the police to try to get these people into custody. Your squads have all gathered up there to, first of all, see that you're alive, and then most of them are horrified at the condition that you guys are in. One of them just pulls a gun on you immediately. I speak as Helena. They don't know that you're piloting her. But I'm assuming you'd say something.
Yes, please do not shoot. Pop out of it. Know wherever I am.
Yeah, okay.
It's like 3 eels left. I don't even know.
Wait, so do we all meet up?
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a central meeting point for you guys, the cops, your squads, the sewer mermen. You're all there, we'll say.
Okay, after Anya greets her squad, she's like, I don't know, super psyched to see everyone.
No, they're all crying and grabbing you. Like so one of them says, "I can't believe it. She came back to life. That's hardcore."
Yeah.
They seem very excited that you're still alive.
No, same to you.
Mikey, your squad is like they have you on a small makeshift table trying to reassemble your goop bits into like it just looks like a sticky man on a table. Like it's the big silhouette of like a man.
Flat.
Yeah, a flat man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like wherever like parts of him are, if like there's like some of them are starting to sprout like little leaves or little like buds of flowers and stuff. They're all, you can see like little goopy roots are all trying to slap around. And
Do you have like a face yet?
yeah, I would say he's probably got eyes and a mouth, but like it's not a face more than it's just eyes and a mouth. It's like two eye stalks. It's more slug than man right now.
I would say an orange wedge is shoved into your mouth once your mouth forms.
Okay, then it looks like he probably has like a big half smile. It's got he's got a little orange peel mouth.
It's like kind of like tasting the sun. Above you comes into view a familiar figure. She just leans over. Are you the reason that there's no longer Golgotha tenements? I leave you alone for just a little bit, and you're blowing up parts of the city. You are a shitty detective.
I think he would just, in the same way of watching like those large like snails and slugs eat, like it's the orange just slowly kind of dissolves into where his mouth was, and his eyes kind of turn, the eye stalks kind of turn and look, and he just goes, "Hey, to be fair, I saved like 54 kids, so yeah, that's kind of balanced."
She scoops up your slime body and just hugs it as tightly as she can, which you probably start to goop around her. Or like
it's
arms.
like, yeah, it's not good.
Don't ever nearly die again unless I'm trying to kill you, idiot. Why would you try to rob me of the honor? What a jerk. I can't believe she starts just shaking you a bit. Like, I can't believe this.
Yeah, when she does, like, parts of you, like, there's parts that are coming apart. Like, he's not as bound together. It's
with her arrival, slowly, Ice Peak, you become aware that there is someone like creeping on you as Helena. Hello there, miss. Hey, what are you doing in this part of town? You're kind of goth. I dig that. Wow, whole thing about a hole in the ground, huh? Maybe we could talk about it over a drink.
I know you do like holes in ground.
Holy shit! He just jumps backward. Why do you sound like Ice Peak?
Because I am in a dead woman.
Oh! He kind of like starts to look back and forth. Should we make it weird?
I am not in the mood to make it weird.
You gotta notice your tone of voice and his face drops. I was just messing around. What's the matter with you? Did someone die? Well, someone important?
The devil stole my boyfriend again.
Oh, damn. You should just like convert to like Catholicism or something. You really have a lot of trouble with that sort of thing. He pushes his glasses up. I could probably get you a pretty neat cross. I know a guy.
I suppose so. Is he a very colorful guy?
Yeah. I heard about him on TV.
I recommend staying away from him if you wish to live.
Oh. Okay. Hey, it's pretty neat that you're concerned if I live or die. I'm gonna take that as a sort of compliment. Most people would probably tell me to just go meet him so I can get my ass kicked. But you actually have concern. I appreciate that. That's why I wouldn't want to hurt our friendship by dating.
I reach over with one of my hands, which may be on the wrong side because I kind of reconstituted her really quick, so maybe my hand is backwards. I put a hand on his shoulder and I just say, I hope you live, Dr. Worm.
Wow, it's so weird when someone says that. I'm not used to it at all. Thank you. That's so nice. He actually genuinely seems touched that someone told him to live for once. For you, Enya, you actually you see a figure in a hoodie that's rather skinny. approach the group. He doesn't actually seem to want to say anything. He's just kind of like shadowing in the background.
Skinny.
He's pretty skinny.
Maybe she's pretty skinny too.
You kind of like, you can hear him speak up a little once your squad disperses. Yeah. It'll grow back. You lived, huh?
Hey.
Yeah. Zella heard something on the news. Something weird happening here. I figured you idiots probably got roped into it. And looks like I was right. This is why we keep our noses out of this sort of thing. Look at it. He kind of like motions towards your withered, burned up body and your like missing finger. Man, you need to learn how to fight.
Come on. I've had a night.
Shit. It's just like the old days, I guess. Making it by the skin of our teeth when we can.
Yeah, no kidding. She's gonna, like, kind of get in his face suddenly.
He doesn't seem to flinch much, but he does look much skinnier without his armor on.
I always thought you looked funny in this form.
Yeah, whatever. Just bulky to move around all the time with all that plating. You don't look so great yourself. So I don't know why you're trying to make fun.
Yeah, whatever. We both look dumb.
How about after they patch you up, we go get something to eat and you can tell me about what happened?
She's just gonna kiss him on the mouth real quick.
Oh, you actually, for the first time maybe since you've seen him again, he actually looks like he was caught completely off guard and like doesn't know what to do. He just kind of freezes actually. You can see him instinctively begin to reach for his left arm. And then slowly you can hear like little joints disconnecting as he starts to pull on it.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, he must have really gone through something. Giving me a kiss. He just kind of like, he stops trying to disconnect his arm. You can tell that was his maneuver to escape. You just hear it pop back into place. Damn. Now I really want to hear about what happened. Not a bad kisser either. He just kind of scratches his nose.
I cannot wait to tell you what happened. It's still insane, actually. Shit. What happened? If he lets her, she'll put an arm around, like, his shoulders and, like, kind of force her over to her crew.
Yeah, he'll actually support you wherever you're trying to go. He looks a little bit uneasy meeting your squad. They are still cops. I guess you're a cop, so what is he gonna do? And lastly, kind of behind you, Claudia, as you're like talking to people, you hear bubblegum pop. Hey, lady detective. Wow. The hell did you do? Your voice sounds awful. She like looks a little worried actually when she hears you talk.
Just stop the machine from exploding. I had to strain my voice to do it.
Oh, I probably know a few good exercises and like treatments you can do for that. You'll be back on your feet in no time. My friends all decided to stop by and talk to your friends, so I guess you're my friend and I have to talk to you because we're friends. She just kind of blows another bubble and pops it.
I guess so. I'll just forward maybe those massages.
Huh, yeah, no problem. As she's talking, you see the sewer mermen beginning to gather around her. The queen has returned. Sewer queen. Sewer Queen. They all begin to chant it at Tiger Monsoon. She spins around immediately. I am not your sewer queen, you freaks. Stop saying that. It stinks down there. Just because you like to hang out in the sewers doesn't mean that I'm going to. I'm a lady, first of all. What makes you think I want to be in a sewer? She looks at you, Claudia. Did they try to pull that shit on you too? They're just lonely. Like, they all just begin, they're still just chanting sewer queen around her. One of them kind of looks at you bashfully, Claudia. Sorry, sewer queen returned. We cannot hold position open for you.
That's fine. I'm sure. I'm sure she'll be happy to figure something out for you.
Claudia, as you're saying that, you can see Tiger Monsoon is staring daggers at you. And she's like, it's almost like she wants to say something and is fuming, but can't, as the chants of sewer queen just get louder and louder. And that is the ending of Judgment Night. You have survived by the actual skin of your teeth. Many of you were just taken out entirely. The flow of catastrophe, for now, seems to have stopped. There is the matter of the giant sinkhole that is now open up, the Golgotha pit, as it will one day be called. For now, you have happy chance of sewer queen. You have a mob. There are mass arrests happening here. Mikey, there are officers working on the kids that you managed to bring in. They're going to help them to get to their families. Ice Peak, your squad is definitely working with you to get details about the green crack containment and like any details that you might have. And so it goes that the night has drawn to a close. As worlds collide in a distant, faraway Earth and a faraway time, the camera slowly pans over the horizon and shows that after the world has cooled down from its collision, there are oceans that are emerging over time, and within those oceans, there is acid. Spilled green acid from the lords of acid that were caught in the collision. And striding amongst the ruins and the chaos in Maelstrom, a figure in a black suit and tie crouches down by a pool of the acid and starts to scratch his chin. Huh. Primordial ooze. That's convenient. He starts to smile very widely as life blossoms and flourishes in the time that follows, using the acid as a base, creating so many different life forms. And from the traces that are discarded still of Ice Peak's physiology, that same man in the suit will likely make other things. Monumental things, including at some point when he injects a caveman in the neck with a stone needle and watches as fangs burst out of his mouth. He claps his hands and then points at it. Vampires! And then looks at the cave opening as if expecting applause, and then remembers that he's alone and just turns back to the vampire caveman he's just made. Just claps for himself instead. And so throughout time, using different materials gathered, he's able to perform such miracles, have such an understanding of science, and master knowledge of the fourth dimension, to eventually one day influence a company that will use his contingency plan to create Portland Kingswood. Something he can't know about, or else he might disturb the flow of time himself. But all the while, as he works and slays different figures from history with rather bored attacks, like he just casually cuts the head off of Spartan warriors and Greeks, it just doesn't satisfy. As the years go on, he just looks more and more bored. Until he sees that the calendar year has turned to the year 2100. While he's in a tank, of course. Huh. He starts rubbing his hands together as they're withered and crumbling. Showtime. And this time, that disc will be mine. He kind of laughs to himself as the tank that he's in gets drained and he just goes flopping out of it. Which is the last thing you see of the man that was Cortland. And just now, as he falls into the mess of science and goop and clones, the Antichrist, Adamus Leroy. Thus ends Judgment Night. Hooray! Yay! Everybody loved it forever. Nobody.
We did it.
Yay! Yeah. What's the matter?
My boyfriend is fine.
He's fine.
No, he's not.
I need help, yeah. And by help, I mean, R.I.P.
Like Leroy himself, however, there cannot be two Akashic records in existence at the same time. The data would actually destroy the universe. And so he couldn't take it with him on the cycle to his birth. You now have in your possession one golden disc that is in fact the Akashic record. What are you gonna do with it? Sell it?
Obviously, we're gonna play it.
Just give it to Rivers. It'll be fine. They'll use it.
No. We actually do have to figure out what we're gonna do with it, though.
Gonna put it in my brain.
I'm pretty sure that might kill you.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know. Also, the very strong implication there is that the Lords of Acid were the original acid used to create life.
Yes.
Because why not?
Yeah, of course. We created the first vampire.
Yeah. First vampire, seeds of life.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I hope you all had fun finally closing out the Judgment Night event.
Yes, we were judged.
Next session, you're going back to court.
Oh, without our witness.
Without your witness.
Yeah.
Oh shit. True.
I shouldn't have beat my boyfriend.
Also,
We'll be
I have
fine.
regrets. I
there's
have regrets.
no Helena totally.
Depends on what you do when you release her. You could just try to arrest her after you release her. I mean, it's up to you.
Does she have her stand? I mean, the stand was just standing there. Does that mean we've separated her from her stand?
You don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Okay.
It's currently just, I guess, floating above the Golgotha pit, though. Just hovering
Kind of
there.
standing there, yeah.
Yeah.
She's psychotic, so still in character, I guess.
I mean, is her brain intact?
Yeah. Her brain still works.